Nah, he's not listening. He is listening. I guarantee you he's got earbuds in. Even if he's on a ride, he's probably still listening to the show because that's how he is. But he's in the window where I think his kids are at an age that they won't annoy him to all living heck at Disney World. I feel like 14, 15, you can take him there and maybe reason with him. I don't know. That's someone who doesn't have kids, I guess, is clearly what
I mean, it's hard for me to say I only have a 4-year-old, but if it's me and I have like a 13 or 14-year-old,
I feel like that'd be better.
I'm just going to say, just go have fun. I'm going to be in the bar having a couple basic beverages.
Sure.
You guys go on the rides. And, if something happens, give me a call.
There's 2 of them. So, they just stick together.
Yeah,
and
without a doubt. It's not like you need one of those leashes on a 13 or 14-year-old.
No.
That I know of.
You need a long leash for that.
but we obviously, we started the day with it. Still the biggest news. It's become a national headline, and that's GrievanceGate. And it started out yesterday, obviously, with the NFLPA releasing a statement. And to summarize it, basically what happened is that the Jacksonville Jaguars, as of now, 25% of the grievances the past couple of years have occurred from the Jacksonville Jaguars. And number one, obviously, that's a bad look, right?
Because it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. But here's where I really just kind of shook my head at it. And I really took this part to heart because, I'm a Jaguars fan. I covered the team, obviously, but I played here. I have friends there, whether it's in the training room or on that football team. I know guys in that locker room. And when one of the last sentences, if not the last sentence from the NFLPA in that letter is the fact that you, and I quote, you may want to consider this when you have a chance to select your next club. And basically what the NFLPA is saying is that you may not want to go to Jacksonville. It's not all gravy over there. And listen, I don't know if the Jaguars could turn around and actually sue for slander, because I feel like that could affect something. I mean, I have no idea. It
certainly could affect things.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could turn around and sue somebody for that or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they would take it to that level, especially when you consider the fact that most in general would tend to think that the group that is causing this right now won't be here next year when potential new free agents would come.
For sure.
That seems to be the prevailing thought. It just seems very ironic to me that here at what might be the end of the Coughlin era, you've got the NFLPA putting the statement saying, hey, because Coughlin's there, / the rest of the people making these decisions, we don't want to put it all on Tom, but when you're the top, that's what happens. You might not want to go there. Whereas when he first got here, the prevailing thought from new signing free agents, Calais Campbell included, was, I talked to Tom Coughlin and I wanted to come play for this team because Tom Coughlin is part of this organization. It's pretty wild how things can make that 180 turn in just a short 3 years' time.
And make no mistake about it, this is a Tom Coughlin issue, okay? This isn't a Doug Marrone issue. I don't believe it's a Dave Caldwell issue, because even before Tom got to Jacksonville and Dave was here, you never really had these discrepancies, at least what we've found out about. So this is a Tom Coughlin issue. And if you want to know how the locker room thinks about Tom Coughlin, if you want to know even what Doug Marrone thinks about Tom Coughlin, through this whole process this year, and let's go ahead and start back in week 2 or 3, whatever it was in Houston, when Doug Marrone and Jalen Ramsey got in their shoving match on the sidelines, okay? And it took a little bit for them to hash it out, but all things considered, Jalen said he had no problem with Doug Marrone, and he even kind of had Doug Marrone's back a little bit. Surprising, because the guy that you wanted to fight,
right,
you actually came out and said, you know what, I have his back. But the point is, then we found out Tom Coughlin was the issue for Jalen Ramsey. But I guess my overall point is how many people in that organization, how many players in that locker room have come out and said, you know what, I got Tom Coughlin's back? None. Zero. I cannot think of one press conference. I cannot think of one locker room interview. I can't think of anything where anyone has come out and said, you know what, Tom Coughlin's doing a good job. We have his back. But we hear it all the time with Doug Marrone. And maybe that's due to the fact that he's more of a player's coach this year and he's eased up the reins a little bit. Whatever the reason, players have no problem, having Doug Marrone's back. Well, Tom Coughlin is the vice president of operations. His thumbprint is all over this team. And the fact that not one person, including Doug Marrone himself, the head coach of the organization, has come out and said, we have Tom Coughlin's back, that should tell you all you need to know right now about the Jaguars organization.
Yeah, I just got a feeling of Martineau being here by the dinger going off there.
There you go.
Shout out to Brent for always leaving his phone on, even when we play golf in San Francisco. But I digress. Yeah, I think a lot of it, too, is because of the lack of transparency. When you think of Tom Coughlin and you think of his leadership style, he keeps everything close to his vest. You watch any one of his press conferences, you'll see more short, terse answers than you'd see from anybody else. Because, quite frankly, a lot of pieces of information are for him to know and for you not to know. The best example is when you talk about him and Doug and that interaction when Doug was saying, hey, my style wasn't, people within even our office were criticizing me. And then they ask him the next day about it, Tom Coughlin, and he's like, that's between us.
Sure.
Well, you're doing a press conference with us, and the other person has come out and said something about it. That's the time to generally address things. And when you don't address things, things tend to fester. And that's my personal. I've always been of the type that I enjoy transparency. Now, transparency has its limits. You don't want to give things away that are going to affect you and your team and negatively affect you. But at the same time, I mean, it's 2019. Things get out there. Sources leak stuff. There's so much information overload out there. It almost feels better to me to always want to be ahead of things and to be able to address things and to really be able to put your stamp on something before everybody in the entire world goes ahead and puts their own opinion on something because you want to keep it to yourself and not say things.
That's a good point. And I guess when we're talking about Tom Coughlin here, and it's funny because I feel like we've been having the same conversation this entire year with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Tom Coughlin. It's the old school versus the new school. It's the traditional way, quote unquote, things of doing it, and it's the modern era football player way of doing things. And there's a clash. And it seems like with the Jalen Ramsey thing, whether he showed up in a Brinks truck, whether there was a shoving on the sidelines, like people have kind of hunkered down in their takes, whether it's, in media or just fans in general on social media. People have hunkered down in their takes of saying, well, either the football player these days, they're soft, they're entitled, or Tom Coughlin's just, he has to get with the program. And obviously, I share more of the sentiments of the modern era football player because I understand it. Now, I'm not part of that. I mean, I guess towards the end of my career back in 2013 and 14, I guess you can consider myself a part of that. But I'm still from the real two-a-days. I'm still from the old school approach of the Oklahoma drills and all that stuff. So I can see both sides. But to come out and say, well, the players these days are soft and that they shouldn't go, they should just keep their mouth shut and play. No. Because if this was any other job and someone's breaking the rules, you're probably going to report them. And that's what more importantly than anything, the Jaguars are breaking the rules. They're cheating. The CBA was put in place, and I helped put it in place. Players voted to put it in place to protect the players. And anytime a player's rights are being violated, anytime a player's rights, are being exposed, well, then of course you should come forward and say something about it. Simple as that.
Yeah, and a lot of the discussion on social media, I mean, you say how people really dig into their takes, and you see it in the way people respond to a situation like this. And me personally, I have no problem with people being upset with how the CBA is written. You're welcome to criticize that, but you don't criticize a team for following or not following the CBA. That's what it is. Those are the rules that both sides agreed to. That is the literal meaning of collective bargaining agreement. Both sides collectively bargained for this agreement. Like, they said that this was something you wouldn't have to do. You wouldn't have to come in the offseason. You could go wherever you want and do your treatment. And to find somebody for it, I mean, it's pretty, black and white there. It's pretty cut and dry to say, okay, that's a rule. We can't break that.
Abide by
that. And not, they're soft, they should be doing whatever the team says. Well, no, that's why they agreed to this thing. So while I have no problem with someone arguing with whether or not that's how it should be, the fact is, it is that. And you should probably adhere to that and be okay with the fact that, hey, these rules are set forth, let's follow them.
And it's still, I called it insane yesterday, and I'm not changing my stance, obviously. It's absolute insanity that 25% of the grievances, 32 teams in the NFL, and 25% of the grievances have come from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, time will tell if they're a majority from Dante Fowler. Sure. Maybe there's some from Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey was on Twitter this morning saying try to tell you all, and I quote, and then Allen Robinson underneath that with the kind of the smile, or I think it was like the crying emojis or whatever. I'm not going to break down emojis. Take it for what you want.
Break down the emojis, Austin. It's what the
Maybe
people
for the
want.
next segment, right? Oh, well, I'm not Instagram to do that yet. But from that perspective, the 25%, and I've said it before on the show, and I'll say it again. And I said it right after the Jalen Ramsey incident in Houston when he pushed Doug Marrone, and I said it yesterday. Dante Fowler obviously had a problem with the Jaguars because he filed the grievances.
And
Jalen Ramsey,
they had a problem with him.
Jalen Ramsey obviously had a problem with the Jaguars, as he revealed on Twitter this morning. But obviously, I mean, the writing was on the wall there.
We all knew that.
But to think that only these two players are the only ones that have a way Tom Coughlin is running things in that building, you're either, number one, just ignorant, or number two, you're not seeing the big picture here. Okay? Because this is more than just two players having an issue. All right? And I would say this is more than just 25% of the grievances. Okay? Those are the ones that got filed. There may be more where it's just like, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about it. Because I'll be honest, when we filed our grievance back in 2010, my rookie year, we came together as a team. And we talked about how, okay, we're going through OTAs right now. We're just in helmets. And it seems like, we're going a little too physical. And I was a rookie at the time. So you know me, man.
Sure.
I'm taking
happy to be there.
I'm taking my
like,
Jack 3D supplements. I'm just happy to be there. I'm trying to give 110%. I don't know what's fast, what's supposed to be soft, whatever. But the fact is that we all got together as a team. We're like, we got to file a grievance. And I'm not going to say who it was, but one of the older members, the captain, was like, I'll take care of it, no worries. 3 days later, it came out. Now we're missing OTAs because the grievance was filed and it got passed. So the fact that if it's just Dante Fowler, so be it, but I guarantee that it's not, because there's been conversations, there's been rumblings in the locker room of that nature. After this break, I want to get into Shad Khan a little bit, because
man on top.
The question comes about what percentage of the blame falls on Shad Khan, and what does he need to do now that the NFLPA released that letter? More on ESPN 690 when we get back.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
A tornado watch now in effect for Baker County and Nassau County until 7 p.m. tonight. We'll be watching a line of thunderstorms move into the area later on this afternoon. Something we'll be watching for some potential damaging wind gusts, maybe even some isolated hail, and also an isolated tornado possible. With your First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenwall.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where now through December 24th, get 20% off everything in the store, including loose diamonds, only at Beards Diamonds.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lee on ESPN 690, and I need you, your friends, and family to meet me at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena Saturday, December 21st for the Jacksonville Icemen's Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears. I know what you're thinking, hockey and teddy bears, but check this out. When the Icemen score their first goal, fans will be encouraged to throw their teddy bears and other stuffed animals on the ice. These stuffed animals will then be donated to the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville, so thousands of local kids are going to have their holiday shine a little brighter. There is no limit to the amount of stuffed animals that you can bring. This may be the only time where you're actually encouraged to throw things at a sporting event. So let's have some fun. Let's cheer on the Icemen and try to break an ECHL teddy bear toss record, all while doing our part in making sure local kids in need have a special holiday as well. It's the Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears supporting the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville this Saturday, December 21st. Get your tickets now at jaxiceman.com/Teddy19. That's jaxiceman.com/Teddy19, and let's put some teddy bears on ice.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather, and that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly, get free estimates, and you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I mean, you have to call a spade a spade. There's really no general feeling of positivity that you can even grab onto right now with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
There's no positivity, Brent, and what makes it even worse is that the fact that there's no excuses anymore.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
It does feel good. It feels good just because of, seeing the look in those guys' eyes at the end of the game right there. They gave it everything that they had. That really was a team effort at the end of that game. Defense stepped up, special teams and offense. It just feels good, and I'm happy for those guys.
That is Jaguars receiver Chris Conley on the field at the Oakland Coliseum as mayhem continued to devolve in the background. Fans throwing things, fans angry. That was directly after the game, joining Brent Martineau and myself to talk a little Jaguars victory.
Well, and Stuart, you were there at Oakland.
Yes.
Were you surprised, underwhelmed with how the crowd reacted? Did you expect more? Was it par for the course?
I think the way the game unfolded kept it from being as bad as it could have been.
That's kind of what Brent was echoing to a little bit.
Yeah, I'd say that. So I went back in 12 or 13. I forget what year it was. One of those home games in Oakland. I went to that one. And that time I happened to be wearing a Jaguars polo. So I had the logo. Mm-hmm. And I was just getting cursed out left and right and so much. And it was... I heard some words that I hadn't heard before. So, it's a tough day for young, innocent Stuart Weber.
What would you say that was probably the craziest atmosphere that you've been in? Because, you're a guy that's on the sideline. So you see the fan, reactions, and you hear all the boos and obviously the choice words as well. Is Oakland probably the craziest place you played in from that standpoint?
Yes. Yeah, no doubt.
Hands down.
Yeah, no
not
doubt.
Even close. Philly, New York, not even close.
Yeah, usually they don't tend to even go after the media because they tend to know that we're just there doing our job or things of that sort. But here, man, they were, if they saw any sort of teal on you, if you were wearing a Bold City shirt, they'd go right after you and they'd treat you like you were any one of the players.
Okay.
But just the way the game went, they were happy. They were they were in the lead the whole time. They were we're gonna go out with a victory, and then they got Minshew'd. So it all went downhill, and then. During that last sequence, it really the switch was flipped on the attempted slide out of bounds.
Yeah.
By Derek Carr. That was what really turned it from, all right, let's celebrate this victory in our last time to, oh my goodness, we're gonna pull a Raiders.
Sure.
And we're gonna do what this team has done to us so many times in the past. And
one last time.
And it was just wild because I'm shooting this. I'm getting ready for our post-game stuff, the things we do, because as soon as the game ends, we go right into post-game mode. We film some things to send back to Jacksonville for the post-game show that we do every week on the app and Facebook page after every game on
nice plug.
CBS 47 Fox 30 Action News Jacks. So you gotta flip right into that mode, and it's doing a lot of things in a small amount of time. Mm-hmm. And so part of me is trying to get all that stuff ready in my head, and this is from the 2-minute warning on, and then another part of me is like, oh man, we got the ball back.
Sure.
Oh shoot, we might come down here and score here, and sure enough, that's what they did.
Yeah.
And it was just I don't want to say I wasn't mentally prepared for them scoring a touchdown, but I wasn't because my mind was in a different place.
Sure.
So as this was all happening, and then I see the fans throwing stuff on the field, ripping the cup holders out and throwing those in, nachos and hats, and they were not happy, which I get.
And you get it for sure. And it's like the way I explained it on Friday, where it's like you're in college, you have that apartment that you're renting out, and it's your last day there. And guess what? You got your deposit back, so no money to worry about. And what are you going to do your last day of college? In that apartment, you're going to throw a giant party. And that's what I did. And the floor got caved in a little bit. Now, I'd have to pay for it because I was smart enough not to have the deposit still activated. But that's what you do. And truth be told, because I played in Oakland a couple times, and I know how their fans are, I was more surprised than, yes, I saw the video of the lady that was bleeding from the forehead. I saw a video of a kid in the front row that was crying because he was getting smushed against the railing, which obviously is not a good sight to see. But all those things considered, I'm really surprised that it wasn't worse than it was. So
now they did bring out a sizable police presence in the third quarter. Mind you. Usually they come out in like the fourth quarter and get in our way, but I digress. They'll come out in the fourth quarter and start to line the field. They came out in mass force in the third quarter to kind of make the point like, hey, nobody's coming down here on the field. And it probably doesn't help that there's so much like from the home side of the stands, there's so much space between there and the field because it's a baseball stadium that you wouldn't be able to, there'd be too many people to have to go by to get to the field. So really it's the ones in the black hole. And it was weird because they even, like, one of the things that it struck me as odd is that they put up the field goal net by the black hole. And I'm like, but they're going the other way. I don't understand what's going on. And then it like clicked in my head. They're just trying to block stuff from getting thrown down on the field. So they brought up the field goal, the net, to prevent stuff from getting thrown in from that middle section of the stands. And I'm
Fair enough.
All right, I guess that's, good call there, guys.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, it's sad because we should be talking about how Minshew looked in that final drive. We should be talking about how can the Jaguars have momentum going forward now. 2 games remaining, the Falcons and the Colts. And we should be talking about how this team, can respond, especially with Gardner Minshew, if he can keep on sustaining what he's doing right now, if he's got that starting spot locked up for next year with the new regime. And we should be talking about all this, and maybe we will towards later in the show. But we're talking about the main story that's been happening, and that is grievance gate, okay? And I think the question that needs to be brought up, the question that everyone should be asking is the fact that where does Shad Khan fit into this whole thing, and should there be a response? What do you think?
It is a great question because as much as you as an NFL owner want to kind of just be hands off from it and say, okay, I hired these people to do this job. Well, it's starting to look like you might have made the bad hire, which then falls on you as the owner. Now, part of it too is, okay, this is a guy who, didn't know much about American football when he was getting into this thing. And I feel like that's fine because you hire people to do that, to really be that part of the game. But you have to be able to cut your losses and to know when it's time for me to stand up there and say, all right, I made a mistake. This didn't work. And it is time to move on. Now, is he going to do that at the end of the year? Or is it going to come out in a press release? That's more than likely what's going to happen. It'll come out in a press release. Things will happen, and away we'll go. He hasn't been that out front owner, that guy that really wants that on him. He's got so many other things going on in his life, in the business realm, in the other teams that he owns, and that's fine. I mean,
that's what a lot of billionaires have going on from, especially billionaire owners. So I can see that point.
He has billionaire problems.
Yeah,
problems you and I don't have to deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah. not bad problems to have.
No, for sure.
Should I get this yacht or this yacht?
Exactly. But and I guess here's where I'm at with it. And listen, I was there when Shad Khan first introduced himself to the team, and he basically came out and said, "Listen, we're going to win a Super Bowl. That is my top priority." And do I think that his focus from that has changed? I honestly don't think so. Now I think he's gotten into a lot more ventures. He owns a soccer club in England. He owns
which also, by the way, has not been great.
It's not been great. Exactly.
They had a quick re-jump into the Premier League, but now they're back in the second division.
Yeah, and
they're not happy either. By the way, over there.
Oh, I believe that. I see it on Twitter sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think as far as him being an entrepreneur and trying to increase downtown, I think that's been good. Now a lot of stuff hasn't got done yet. But hopefully going forward, the downtown, the city of Jacksonville will improve from that area as well. And in terms of ownership, no, Shad Khan doesn't understand really the X's and O's per se. I'm sure he's got better over the years. But even when he came to talk to us that first day, he even told us, like, listen, guys, I don't know the X's and O's per se, but I'll make sure that you guys have the resources. I'll make sure that I hire the right people to do that. Now, you can sit here and say, obviously, the easy thing to say is, well, Tom Coughlin hasn't really got the job done, right? The front office hasn't got the job done. The coaching staff hasn't got the job done this year. But if there was ever a time to be like Jerry Jones, and I've been on the show a couple times saying I'm not the biggest Jerry Jones fan because I don't like it when Jerry Jones calls out players. I don't like when Jerry Jones calls out coaches during the middle of the season because you see how players respond to that. I don't like those things. Sometimes I think Jerry Jones is a little too hands-on. But if you're Shad Khan, and I think there's been a few instances this year where, yes, he has been the guy that doesn't really come out and say anything. He kind of keeps his hands off it. But at the end of the day, when you're an owner of a football team and the people that you put in charge are not doing a good job, well, then you owe it to not only your company, the Jaguars that you own, the employees in that locker room that work for you, and then the fan base that you keep using the word viability to, you owe it to at least say something. And guess what? If you don't want to say something, then actions speak louder than words, so then make a change. And I was very adamant about that when the Jaguars had that 5-game skid. I go, the fact that they've kept the same coaching staff, the same front office, and have made 0 changes, to me that falls on Shad Khan because basically you're saying, you know what? We're going to roll the dice again and see hopefully we get a win this week. Okay, now you beat Oakland, good on you. Okay, you beat Oakland in the black hole, their going away party, you beat them, props to you for doing that. But now enter this whole, thing with the NFLPA. And we talk about how there's 25% of the grievances filed in Jacksonville. Okay, if you're an owner, maybe I don't come out and address that. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. But here's what I have an issue with if I'm an owner. When the NFLPA writes a letter and says, we advise players that they don't sign there. Okay, blatantly, in black and white writing saying, we advise players not to go to Jacksonville. If I'm the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars and I see that, I take that to heart. Because now you're talking smack about my team. And this isn't me talking smack about the team. This isn't some ESPN reporter talking smack about the team in Bristol. This is the NFLPA. The same NFLPA that players like me put in place to have our back. So to have the NFLPA kind of come out and attack your football team, your organization, and the way you run things, if you're Shad Khan, how can you not come out and say something and address it?
Because it's bad. That is bad for business, not coming out and saying something.
It's horrible.
If you think about it, Doug, Dave, Gus is already gone.
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah.
All of those guys, and Gus, he's gone too, are all going to be gone before Shad Khan is gone, right?
Yeah.
Shad Khan is going to own this team past this current regime and ideally past the next regime and then maybe hand it off to Tony. But the point is that you're going to be here longer than this group that you have set in place. So you need to think, okay, this is my team. I need to do what's good for business here. Come out with a statement. Come out and say, look, this is not what the Jacksonville Jaguars stand for.
Yes.
This is, something. Now, even if you're not going to make the firings right now, you're going to wait 2 weeks until Black Monday when we should be worrying about the Orange Bowl and the Gators, and instead we're going to have to worry about Black Monday. Maybe then make a statement. Put something out there to let the rest of the NFL world know this is not what Jacksonville stands for. This is not what it's going to be moving forward. Even if you're not making these changes right now, you need to let these free agents who are seeing this and looking at this and being like, oh, well, maybe I don't want to, not have to pay state sales tax.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe I can go to Tampa or Miami and do that. But the point is, a statement needs to be made. Something needs to be done to let people know that I'm going to still be here, and this is not how this team's going to be done.
Absolutely. And listen, we're watching this obviously closely because we cover the Jaguars. The national media is watching this because it's a big story. But you know who else is watching this? Potential NFL free agents, other players that, around the league. They're all keying into how Jacksonville's going to respond to this. And I feel like if you're the owner of the team and you let this happen on your watch, you say nothing, you're basically telling players that could maybe sign here, could maybe not, be like, maybe we did some things that were messed up for the culture, but it is what it is. And obviously, if you don't want to come out and give a statement, and I get it, that's been Shad Khan's MO. He doesn't want to come out and talk to the media, and that's fine. I understand that. But then if you don't want to give a statement, then do what you should have did with the coaching staff when the team wasn't doing so well, and have it be that actions speak louder than words. And if actions speak louder than words, then just let Tom Coughlin go right now. I'm not saying after the season, right now. Set a precedent. Say, you know what? This is not how we do things here in Jacksonville. This was Tom Coughlin's fault. I respect him as a man, what he's done for the organization, his history here. But you know what? This is unacceptable. And just let the guy go. But nothing's being done as of now. And you know what's going to happen? I think Doug Marrone takes the mic tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And you're probably going to be there.
Every Wednesday.
And you know what's going to happen? And I'm sure you do the same thing, Stuart. You're going to ask Doug Marrone, hey, can you talk to us about this NFLPA letter and the players in the locker room?
I can already tell you what the answer will be.
You know what he's going to do?
Yeah.
He's going to look down the hallway, and he's going to ask for help. And the help's not going to come. And Doug Marrone's going to be left out to dry like he has on every other single issue that involves the front office. It's ridiculous. All right, Kuz, let's quick go to break here before I say something I'm going to regret.
That microphone out.
I know, man. I'm getting ready to break this microphone here. We only got one of them. But obviously when we come back, the conversation continues a little bit. And
I have a question, too. How much can you separate liking Tom Coughlin as a person, as a coach, with what he's done, not once but twice, as kind of a personnel front office guy? Mm-hmm. How easy is it to separate those and send him on his way?
Well, even that, and also his resume as well. I mean, this is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, you know, and this was a great coach, his first run here in Jacksonville. So we'll address that. How much of that does that go into Shad Khan's decision for, all things considered, keeping him on the roster right now? We'll talk about that after the break on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags may have won on Sunday, but they took an L in the latest round of arbitration with the NFLPA. According to a statement released by the NFLPA, in the last 2 years, more than 25% of the grievances filed by players in the entire league have been filed against the Jaguars. There's a new leader in all-time passing touchdowns. Who dat? It's Saints quarterback Drew Brees, who passed Peyton Manning's mark in a blowout win against the Colts last night on Monday Night Football.
Will he get it here? Yes! Touchdown pass, 5-4-0 in the 5-0-4.
Joe Tessitore on the call. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices, premium service, and Tire Outlet always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
If you're tired of wearing glasses or contact lenses, call Meta Vision at Florida Eye Specialist, 268-EYES. They believe when it involves your eyes, you deserve the very best. Just ask golf professional Todd Bork.
I thought about LASIK for years, and I just finally got to the point where I'm getting older and I'm frustrated. I'm wearing distance glasses. Now it's raining, and that just doesn't work at all. I've tried contacts and failed miserably. Can't get them in and out of my eyes. So I just said, you know what? I'm not able to read the greens the way I think I need to. I want to do this for my golf and for myself. But I'm thrilled that I had it done. I can actually see to drive without glasses, and I can see the golf ball, and that's very important to me.
See why thousands of patients have chosen Meta Custom Vision and Florida Eye Specialist for their eyes. Call 268-EYES or online at metalaser.com. Hurry before your HSA or Flex spending accounts expire at the end of the year. Your eyes deserve the very best. Meta Custom Vision at Florida Eye Specialist. 268-EYES.
New flavors and a rating that would make men jealous. Hey, everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brett Martineau. Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. It's new, and it's getting rave reviews.
Made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Vita de Louis is available in 3 flavors.
And those flavors are Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Try all 3. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For merchandise and more, visit VitaDeLouis.com. The holidays are on the horizon. That means family and food. Hey, everybody, I'm Brent Martineau. Let Renna's Pizza help you out. Parties at school, parties at work, celebrations, or maybe you're just tired of cooking yourself. Renna's has you covered with 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Want a fresh one? Renna's makes everything fresh. New York-style pizza, sandwiches, salads, and pasta dishes. Everything fresh. Find out why Renna's has been a family favorite for over 40 years. 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone. It's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the west side and in Fleming Island.
The Jags Health and Fitness Expo is here to pump your business up. Hear us today and book your sponsorship yesterday because space is selling out fast.
Yeah, put your business in front of thousands of people who want to get pumped up.
Or at least live healthier lives.
Don't miss the Jags Health and Fitness Expo, February 22nd at the Morocco Shrine.
Book your space now at BeHealthyJags.com.
And pump
your business up.
BeHealthyJags.com.
The most wonderful time of the year deserves the most wonderful sale of the year. And for that, you got to go see Arlington Toyota, where you can still get huge Toyotathon savings and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. With over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, that's a whole lot of Toyotathon savings happening right now at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota Camry? It's not $19,745. Now it's only $15,581. That's $15,581 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington. Got to have a 2019 Toyota RAV4? It's not $22,925. No way. Now it's just $19,481. Just $19,481 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 XLE at Arlington. Plus, you're going to get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Toyotathon is on, but it won't last forever. Get in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s at Arlington Toyota. In person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
It's holiday time, so treat yourself to some golf or give the gift of golf. Hey everyone, this is Brent Martineau. The Golf Club at Southampton is one of the most fun tracks to play in the area, and it's very affordable. It's the home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 as well. Go to golfsouthampton.com for tee times, gift cards, and gift packages. There are 9 different options to choose from. It's the perfect gift. The gift of golf at Southampton this holiday season. Visit golfsouthampton.com. Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
If you're buying diamond jewelry this holiday season and you haven't shopped Beard's Diamonds yet,
stop before you pay too much.
Now through Christmas, you'll save an extra 20% off Beard's already guaranteed low prices.
Yes, an additional 20% off Beard's already low prices.
That's on everything in the store, including loose diamonds.
Nobody in the town center sells loose diamonds for less than Beard's Diamonds.
20% off all diamond engagement rings, from solitaires to halos. 20% off all diamond bracelets, necklaces, and more.
Shop the biggest inventory in North Florida. And now through December 24th, it's 20% off.
Including loose diamonds. And that's on top of Beard's unbeatable prices. Now you can buy her a bigger set of diamond earrings and save 20% off.
Plus, get special financing, but only at Beard's Diamonds through December 24th in the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
And this guy writes in, where was all this Masvidal love before his recent success? Real fans have had his back for a long time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and in the TuneIn Radio app.
As a player, I pump the brakes. I mean, do you want to go be a part of that kind of culture? That's a problem, all right? As a coach, I want to remedy that, okay? We want to build trust in the locker room. If you have to find guys like that, you got the wrong guys, or you're the wrong guy. Something's got to change. I mean, so to me, you want to create a culture where guys enjoy coming into work.
Former Jaguars head coach, friend of the show, Jack Del Rio there. I think that was taken from this morning, Kuz, if I'm not mistaken, correct? That is correct, yeah. And Jack Del Rio's, he's killing it on ESPN, man. He's got...
I'd like to say ESPN 690 Jacksonville has vaulted him to his current status.
There you go. Well, he's also stealing some of my taglines of Pump Your Brakes. Obviously, he's listening to the show 24/7.
How about you pump the brakes?
Yeah. How about you start giving me some royalties because I'm going to trademark Pump Your Brakes. But I thought Coach Del Rio there, and it's funny I still call him Coach Del Rio. But I thought Jack Del Rio there, he made some good points. And this is nothing that's new to anybody. I mean, he was a former player. He gets it. I was a former player. I understand that. I think in creating a good culture, and I was this close to signing a contract with the Seahawks, so I spent some time there. I got friends that still play in Seattle. I know members of that coaching staff actually at Seattle, so I talk to sometimes. And the whole key of creating a culture, it's knowing where to pick your battles, okay? It's letting the guys be the guys, but when it comes to the X's and O's, maybe you got to hamper down a little more, right? Where if it's training camp and you feel guys are a little too lackadaisical, well, then you clamp down there. But what you do not do, and this is directed at Tom Coughlin, what you do not do is try to break rules of the CBA that require guys, if they want to leave during the offseason and get treatment someplace else, you don't make them stay. That's a college thing. That's a college coach coming in and saying, hey, guys, have a good summer. Oh, by the way, you should probably stay here. Wink, wink, because you don't want extra conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to a lot of people that have played college sports where it's implied, right? And listen, I get Coughlin's got the reputation as a coach, of kind of being that old school guy. I'm sure he did some things back in the day where it's like, even as a player, you're kind of like, dude, what? Like, you're going to find me for that? Really? And this example here is no exception. The difference is that 10, 15 years ago, you could get away with it. Nowadays, when things are in place, you're not adapting. You're just trying to stick to your old ways, and guess what? It's having consequences to the team now. Joined by Action Sports' Jack Stewart Weber, by the way.
Yes.
Sorry.
For those on our video feed, we had to update the graphic below that says Brent Martineau and say not Brent Martineau.
Not Brent Martineau.
As he is off today, and I'll do my best to fill in for the mighty Martineau, as many people on social media appear to be upset that it's me and not him. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, you're all good. I mean,
sorry, people.
You're already wearing a lot more color than he ever would with that teal shirt there.
It's true. Tried to represent here a little bit for our great fans that hate me.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But I guess the question is then.
Yes.
I mean, I'm shocked. I'm sure you're kind of a little shocked that there hasn't been some kind of firing yet from the Coughlin end. But
yes and no.
Okay. And why no?
It just feels like that's the way that this group has done things, be it Shad Khan or be it Tom Coughlin, that idea that we'll just wait till the end of the season kind of thing, that we don't want to make these headlines in the midst of a season. But you know what? You're in the headlines. Mm-hmm. You're already in the headlines right now.
Yeah.
And, we as the city of Jacksonville and this community, we don't get brought up very often on ESPN. And even less so do we get brought up for good things.
Especially this season. It's been all bad things.
Especially this season, other than the Minshew Mania. That's the one good thing that really has come out of here. And I feel like my personal experience, as far as how I know how important we are to the national landscape, is how often we get requests for video or interviews or practice video from national outlets. Early in the season, every single week, we would get an email. Hey, were you guys there for Jalen Ramsey's this? Mm-hmm. Were you there for Nick Foles this? Were you there for practice this week? Mm-hmm. And every single week we would get something. After the Ramsey fallout, after he left, maybe once. Like our national folks who we'll send stuff to, they don't want our stuff. They don't need our stuff because it's not being put on their shows, because we're not part of their conversation unless something giant is happening. And something giant is now happening, and we are in that national picture. We are being talked about. Now is a great time to come out and do that. But I feel like they're just going to wait till the end of the year, which can be extremely frustrating from people who right now are thinking, well, do something now, but they just don't want to.
Well, and it's frustrating for me, I guess, being a former player and seeing how this is operated. Because here's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not trying to think of, I'm not trying to analyze this as a radio analyst or as a member in sports media. I'm trying to think of this from a current player's perspective, as a perspective of where, you know what, my contract at the end of this year is going to be up. I'm looking to go to a new spot. I want to go someplace else. And I'm looking at it from that angle. And Brent mentioned this yesterday, and I somewhat agree with him, where money talks. So whoever pays you the most money, you're probably going to go to. Okay, for the most part. If you have a case like C.J. Mosley going to the Jets, well, yeah, the Jets paid him so much more money than anybody else did that C.J. Mosley was like, well, geez, they're going to pay me this much money? They must really want me there. I'm going to go to the Jets.
Little does he know, cost of living much higher there.
Well, there you go, right?
There goes all that money, CJ.
It kind of balances out a little bit. But from the perspective of if you're trying to chase a free agent, let's say a Hunter Henry, for instance, right? You need a tight end. If you're trying to chase Hunter Henry, you make an offer to him. Well, usually the way NFL free agency works is whatever you offer him, a team's going to offer him the same thing or be in that ballpark, maybe a $1 or $2 million difference per year. And I'm saying what's happening in Jacksonville right now with this NFLPA stuff, that $1 or $2 million difference, say the Jaguars offer him a little, maybe an extra $2 million. That right there, what's going on right now, that's a $2 million difference. That's Hunter Henry or I'm just obviously using an example.
Sure.
Whoever's interested in coming to Jacksonville being like, you know what? The NFLPA is kind of telling me I probably shouldn't do it. And guess what? The NFLPA was designed to have the players back. So why wouldn't the players listen? So this is my problem, I guess, with the front office and the management of the Jacksonville Jaguars. You're a billionaire, okay? And this is to Shad Khan. And listen, I respect the hell out of Shad Khan. And the same thing with Tony as well. They're fantastic people, and I have nothing but nice things to say about them. But from the business standpoint, and I'm not a billionaire, so it's hard for me.
Not yet.
Not yet. One day when the show goes global. And it's hard for me to sit here and say, well, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, right? Because, dude, you're the billionaire. I'm just a guy that used to play, for you, and now I'm on the radio. But from the perspective of that, if you're the billionaire, you know what that means? It means you won. It means you know what you're doing in life, and you are in the rare air of being a billionaire. And if you're a billionaire, whether it's the money or the ownership title that you have at your desk that says, you know what, Shad Khan, owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the beauty of that is that you can control the narrative. You can control the narrative, number one, in that stadium, in that environment, and number two, you can control the narrative of how the outside world sees you. And right now, the outside world is laughing at you. Okay, the NFLPA is talking smack about you, and you're not doing anything about it. And I get it's your style is to kind of sit back and say, you know what, let the chips fall where they may. And maybe this is Shad Khan, and Brent's actually brought this point up before too. Remember when Shad Khan said about Jalen Ramsey, we expect him to play, and the ball was kind of in Jalen Ramsey's court. What happened? Jalen didn't play, and maybe it made Shad Khan look a little bad because he kind of went back on his word a little bit. But I think it made Jalen Ramsey look worse because all indications were that he was going to play. So maybe this is another power move by Shad Khan to kind of just throw Tom Coughlin out to dry. But at the end of the day, if that even is the power play here, it makes zero sense because that's
going to hurt your team and not him.
That's petty, man.
Yeah.
That's pettiness. You're the owner. Tom Coughlin's already looked bad in this situation, okay? People have been saying it by name. So if you're Shad Khan, I feel like you should just come out and, number one, either address the media or just at least make a statement. Let us know that you understand what's going on right now and it's not acceptable. Or number two, and if you don't want to talk about it, then let the action speak and let Tom Coughlin go.
It makes so much sense when we just say it out loud, right?
It does.
And the interesting thing is that how much of this is getting back to Shad Khan? Who is he hearing it from? Because he's not on social media.
Yeah.
He's not listening to this show. If you are, hey. But you're probably not listening to the show right now. You're not watching the local news in Jacksonville to see what they think about it. He's looking at the numbers, and maybe he's watching some of the national sports shows. I don't know if he is.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tony is.
Mm-hmm.
I know Tony's probably going to be watching or listening, and he's the one who's maybe more involved with it because he's on social media. I know he was at the game on this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him on the field chatting with Doug Marrone before the game started.
Yeah.
So Tony Khan is very much involved with it, and he is a member of that staff as well, albeit now in a lesser role because he's got so many other things going on. But he's part of the decision-making process as the head of analytics, and that's a big part of the moving forward stuff, not so much the what you can do with it right now. That's more on the coaching staff. So I'm sure even if Shad Khan's not hearing it, Tony is and is able to relay that stuff to his dad and say, hey, we got to get out in front of this. And that's very much how we feel right now. You got to get out in front of this and do or say something and let people know that this doesn't work. This isn't going to stand.
And I guess my other issue with this, from Shad Khan's perspective, is the whole year we've been talking about the lack of communication, whether it's been from coach to player, coach to front office, or some kind of pattern of that. It's been the communication. And listen, I was there back in 2010 when we agreed to file the grievance. Once again, didn't really know what was going on. Just happy to be there. All hopped up on Jack 3D, ready to go out and practice, coach. Didn't really know we were going a little bit too hard, supposedly. I had no idea what was going on. I was just along for the ride. But I do know this. When that grievance was filed and it made the media, it made ESPN saying, well, Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be out a couple of OTA practices now because they violated the CBA. I knew as soon as that happened and that got announced, the Weavers, Wayne Weaver came down to talk to our team and said, this isn't going to fly, guys. We gotta be on the same page here. Because every time a grievance is filed, everyone's going to know about it. Mm-hmm. So then here's my issue as well. 25% of the grievances filed were from Jacksonville.
In the last 2 years.
In the last 2 years were from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know what percentage of those are Dante Fowler. It could be 100%. It could be 5%. It really doesn't matter. The fact that when this many grievances were filed, and not just from this year, last year as well, when this many grievances are filed, I guarantee Shad Khan had to know about this. And if he didn't, then someone should be fired for not telling him, obviously. But I guarantee he knew about this. So how we're finding out about this now, and there is nobody addressing it before that we know of. I mean, we haven't heard anything behind closed doors. We'll see. But the fact that no one's addressed this before, the fact that you have to assume Shad Khan knew about this stuff and didn't make any changes whatsoever. Like, if you knew you were cheating, if you knew you're violating the CBA, then why not make an announcement or a change or something like that? Nothing was done. And now we're sitting here, the NFLPA is talking smack about your team, and it's just looking like, it is what it is. It's frustrating, man. I'm sorry. It's very frustrating.
And you have the right to be frustrated. Fans have the right to be frustrated. We as the media certainly do as well, because, we're left to speculate and come up with this stuff because there's no statement being made. There's nothing happening. There's nothing concrete being done about it. So what do you do other than you just say, well, I guess this is what we're going to do now? No, that's not good enough. Yeah. It needs to be a next step. Something has to happen. And until it does, we're just left here kind of talking about it and wondering, well, why isn't anything happening? Well, it's not happening.
Yeah.
It's not happening right now. And that's just kind of the truth of it, is that it's not, we can't do anything about that.
Sure.
We just have to sit here and wait, which is awful.
So you've been in that locker room, you've been in that building for a while now. You kind of know the ins and outs of it, the intricacies of it. From your standpoint of covering this team, what would you want to see them do going forward now? I'm saying tomorrow at the press conference. Obviously, Doug Marrone, we think, is going to talk. He always does.
He will,
on Wednesday.
He will talk tomorrow.
But what do you want to see happen? Because I guarantee you don't want to see Doug Marrone look down the hallway and be like, can somebody come bail me out? What do you want to see happen?
It's tough because what can Doug do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing that Doug can do. He's not going to go out there and throw his, superiors under the bus even more, because that's not the kind of guy Doug is. That's not what he is. He's going to shake off the questions and try to go on to Atlanta. He's going to have to pull a Belichick move there and refocus it towards the next game, because as the coach, that's all he can do.
Yeah.
And if there was something he could do, I would love to see it, but there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do as the head coach. His job is to get these players prepared for the next game, whether that means he's coming back or next year or not. That's still his job, is to get these guys ready and get them ready for Atlanta and try to go win a football game.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting tomorrow to see what happens.
Yeah, I can already tell you what's going to happen.
I guess so.
Yeah. He's not going to say anything.
Maybe I'm just going to be blindly optimistic, the fact that maybe they'll put somebody else out there, but I'm probably wrong.
They won't.
Yeah, they probably won't do that.
You saw what happened last time. They put Tom Coughlin out there, and the brushback was awful.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what is going on right now? This is just an awful plea to come watch this team.
You know what? I said this back a couple months ago, and I remember when I said it, I was at the Jacksonville Iceman rink, and it was me and Brent doing the show from there. And it was right after Tom Coughlin came out and said that he expects 100% participation. And I'm going to say it again right now. When upper management fails to adapt to its players and see their side in any business, you're not going to be successful. And here we are again for the Jacksonville Jaguars. More on ESPN 690 when we get back.
It's time for some straight talk. You know those football players who are all talk, no show? Well, big wireless carriers aren't much different. Well, Straight Talk Wireless doesn't give you the hype, just the savings. For just $45 a month, you'll get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. No contract. All on the same 4G LTE networks as the big guys, but up to half the cost. Savings delivered right to your wallet. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
'Twas the holiday season, and in your garage, a brand new John Deere. That's not a mirage. With neighbors admiring your shiny new ride, it's your year for a Deere to fill you with pride. So if additional offers are what you desire, see our low rates before they expire. Now start up your engines and drive out of sight. New John Deere equipment for all, and to all a good night. Make it your year for a Deere. See your John Deere dealer today to discover more amazing deals and attractive financing offers.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lee on ESPN 690, and I need you, your friends, and family to meet me at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena Saturday, December 21st for the Jacksonville Icemen's Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears. I know what you're thinking, hockey and teddy bears, but check this out. When the Icemen score their first goal, fans will be encouraged to throw their teddy bears and other stuffed animals on the ice. These stuffed animals will then be donated to the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville, so thousands of local kids are going to have their holiday shine a little brighter. There is no limit to the amount of stuffed animals that you can bring. This may be the only time where you're actually encouraged to throw things at a sporting event. So let's have some fun. Let's cheer on the Icemen and try to break an ECHL teddy bear toss record, all while doing our part in making sure local kids in need have a special holiday as well. It's the Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears supporting the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville this Saturday, December 21st. Get your tickets now at jacksiceman.com/Teddy19. That's jacksiceman.com/Teddy19, and let's put some teddy bears on ice. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
I'm Christine Lisi, developing story. The Lions are bringing back GM Bob Quinn and head coach Matt Patricia next season, giving them a third year to try and build their program. The Saints adding cornerback Janoris Jenkins for the stretch run. He's expected to officially join the team today after being claimed on waivers. The Giants released Jenkins last week, and a change of scenery should boost Jenkins as well as New Orleans, notes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
He's extremely talented. He's a ball guy. He's quick, very sticky, also physical. And so if you can get him to buy into what you're doing in New Orleans, when you have a guy like Marshawn Lattimore on the other side, this could really help this team that until last night had struggled a little bit since playing Atlanta and Marshawn Lattimore being injured.
Our Ryan Clark. The Saints are tied with the 49ers, Seahawks, and Packers for the NFC's best record at 11-3. The Steelers will start QB Duck Hodges Sunday against the Jets. North Carolina's star point guard Cole Anthony expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing an arthroscopic procedure on his knee. Anthony's a potential top 5 pick in the upcoming NBA draft.
Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Geico could help you get great coverage at a great price. And it only takes 15 minutes to see if you could save 15% or more on car insurance. Go to geico.com today and see how much you could save.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Why would you go sign with the Jags now if you have any other option? I realize there's only 32 teams in the NFL, and sometimes you just got to go wherever the money is. Is that how you want to build your roster? If you're the Jags, is that your big hope? Well, fear not, guys. Maybe next year we can get guys that don't have offers anywhere else. I mean, this is an absolute, it's not just an egg in the face. It is an absolute issue for the Jags that has to be fixed right now, because the only way that they'll sign anybody is if they get this fixed.
ESPN's Jason Fitz with some comments this morning regarding, well, what we've been talking about, and call it what you want. I think I called it grievance gate. I'm still sticking with that. I'm going to trademark
People
that.
love the gate thing.
I'm going to copyright that.
Right.
I mean, are you opposed to grievance gate?
I'm opposed to anything with the gate in there. I don't know. I just feel like it's gotten so used and tired.
Not like this, though.
Okay.
I'm making T-shirts.
I mean,
dude.
the alliteration's good, but outside of that,
Well, do you have something better for the show then?
Let's do this interview, and then I'll have something for you.
Okay, speaking of interviews, the guy that you just heard, Jason Fitz, is joining us now. Obviously, we'll get into the Jacksonville Jaguars here and grievance gate in a little bit. But
you mean the grievance malfeasance?
The grievance malfeasance. That's a big word, and I can't say that mouthful. But we're joined now by Jason Fitz. Jason, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm great. I like grievance gate, and if you're anti-gate, then is it gate? Like, I'm all in for that, too. Give me all the gates.
I do need a new gate at my house. Maybe that's why it's on the top of my head. I don't like gates. It could be.
Jason, we're joined here by Action Sports' Jack Stewart Weber. Brent is on vacation or a little getaway to Disney World in Orlando, Florida, but I'm sure he's listening right now. But,
he's always listening.
Yeah.
Always.
And speaking of listening, Jason Fitz got a new show coming on, I think starting next year. Will be right before our show. So fans in Jacksonville can listen to him and then check us out as well. Jason, what can people expect from your new show?
Yeah, so the new show launches January 20th. It's called First Take, Your Take with me. And basically what we're doing is a couple of things. We're going to take the biggest and the best of whatever Stephen A. and Max were debating on First Take, and we're going to take that conversation and move it forward. So we'll obviously come in and give you the big stories of the day as ESPN Radio always does, and as breaking news happens, we'll cover that too. But for most days in and out, what we'll do is we'll get you some of what Max and Stephen A. were debating with, and then we'll get callers and experts and me, and we'll all take that conversation and move it forward. So you'll still hear a little Stephen A. If you're used to hearing the Stephen A. Smith Show from 1 to 3, you'll still hear his voice as part of it. He'll also be obviously a regular contributor outside of that, but then we'll take that Stephen A. moment, and we'll try and move it forward with a little bit of energy and a little bit of fun and keep it going and get everybody involved. It's going to be a good time. So we're looking forward to it. It starts January 20th, 1 to 3, Monday through Friday on the ESPN Radio, 1 to 3 Eastern, and simulcast on the ESPN News. Big opportunity.
Yeah, and you'll be able to hear that right here on ESPN 690 in Jacksonville, talking to Jason Fitz from ESPN Radio. And you talk about moving the conversation forward. Well, let's do that on the soundbite. I'm pretty sure you heard it coming into the block, was your thoughts on the Jacksonville Jaguars and grievance gate, as we're calling it, and really what this means for the team moving forward. And this entire first hour of our show today, Austin and I, Stuart Weber here, have been talking about just what needs to happen, and really anything needs to happen as we move this thing forward. What are your thoughts on what can be done to maybe try and repair this image problem that exists right now because of that strong wording from the NFLPA in that statement?
Yeah, Tom Coughlin's got to go. I mean, it's pretty simple. And look, I always go back to one of the things that really was jarring for me when I first started talking to athletes and getting to know athletes and then starting to work in this field. I'm a lifelong diehard Raiders fan. Congratulations to us. Y'all killed my dreams last weekend. To you guys, you killed our
Sorry about
dreams.
that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But one thing that really stunned me when I started just joking around with now friends, and I'd say, when are you going to sign with my beloved Raiders? And the number of them would just sharply say never. And it wasn't, they weren't even just busting my chops. It was look, I'm not going to go somewhere where the facilities aren't right, where I don't trust being able to play on a field without hurting myself, where ownership seems to have lost their mind. There were all of these factors that came into it. And that was a reminder to me that as much as my eyes always look at things through a fan scope, players are looking at it through a business scope. Now, when your union, when the people that you collectively choose to bargain your fate tell you that you should consider the grievances before you sign with the team this fall or next fall, that is an absolute brazen statement, not just from the players as a group, but from the people that negotiate on the players' behalf. Everybody's standing up and saying, hey, we're not going to let this happen. And that doesn't come out by accident. That's not an internal memo. They went out public to everybody and said, you need to consider this. That's a statement that you can't undo. And that tells you the way the players are going to feel about it if they really want to build a winning culture with the Jags, they're going to have to, the first thing and the only thing they're going to have to do before they can do anything else is make wholesale changes on Tom Coughlin and who runs the organization so the players are even interested in signing there.
And Jason, it's funny, you brought up a great point about the Raiders, and it's funny you talked about their facilities a little bit, because I'm going to clue you in on a little behind-the-scenes look here. So back in 2013, I took a visit to Oakland, and they gave me a workout and everything, and it was very well known that obviously the fan base in Oakland's one of a kind, right? Very passionate football fans, but the facilities there were lacking, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. And not to knock the organization out because they're getting ready to go to Las Vegas.
I think I got tetanus this past weekend walking through that building.
Well,
by the
there
way.
you go. But when I went to the training room, it was like, it was almost like I was back in college at Murray State, where it's like, oh wow, you guys got the old school tubs, like the cattle tubs in there. Like where's the hot tub? Where's the cold tub? And I get it from the standpoint where people are always going to say money talks. But you got to remember, money talks, but also players got to spend a lot of their majority of their time in that stadium, in those facilities. So kind of the word on the street when I was playing was like, yeah, man, Oakland, they may give you a lot of money, but be careful for those facilities.
Well, and to that point, you think about money talks, but you also have to think about players are constantly investing in their ability to move forward, right? And we know that the only money you have is the money that's in front of you. But players are constantly worried about their futures and their careers. You got to go somewhere where you're going to get the opportunity to make yourself a future too. So, to your point about facilities and all those things that matter, that's why Vegas is actually going to be spectacular for the Raiders as a franchise. And one of the things that's funny to me is I went out there for a few. I've been a Raiders fan my whole life, and several years ago, I had the chance to go out there and play the national anthem for them on fiddle before a game.
Nice.
And I was so excited because I've seen them all over the country, but I didn't grow up with any means. We didn't have the chance to go to Oakland for games or LA for games when I was a kid. So, for me walking into the Coliseum, I was like, I can't wait for this. And then I looked around and I walked in and I thought, man, I've been to almost every NFL stadium in the league, and this place is a dump. And I'm looking at that from a fan standpoint, thinking that, what's a player thinking that, and there's a premium that you're right. You have to pay, and that's just because you're not well-funded or because your facilities aren't right. What's the premium you have to pay that's going to make someone want to be a part of culture that doesn't help them succeed and culture that could cost them money? And that's like when you're writing a check, and I don't care how much money you make. $700,000 is a lot of dang money. Mm-hmm. When you're being fined $700,000, what are you doing? You're telling your friends about it. You're telling your family about it. You're telling everybody, man, they are doing me wrong. And in a close-knit group of brotherhood like they have as NFL players, and that's going to play into everybody. Man, I know what they did to Dante. I'm not going to sign here. Like that's real. And if people don't think that's real, they're kidding themselves. So Tom Coughlin's coming from an old school, and it's killing the organization as long as he's there.
Well, let's just shift gears a little bit here because obviously we got you to talk college football on as well. And we got to break down this college football playoff real quick because I think we may be done talking to you now, Jason, because the next couple weeks we're going to be on break for the holidays. So this may be the last time we get to talk to you before we find out who the national champion is of college football. And I guess my first question to you is if you look at the slate, you have the Peach Bowl of Oklahoma and LSU. One would think LSU is probably going to dominate that game. The Fiesta Bowl, Ohio State, Clemson is very intriguing in my opinion. And I guess the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this game right here is the fact that nobody, and I mean nobody it seems like, is talking about Trevor Lawrence. And if you look at his numbers from this season to last season, they're very comparable. In some categories, he's actually better this season. Why is nobody talking about Trevor Lawrence right now?
Because North Carolina was a close football game, and he was struggling early in the season. Struggling for Trevor Lawrence is a relative term, right? But it wasn't the Trevor Lawrence he's been. If you go back and rewatch those games, we went back and rewatched the last 6 games for Clemson. Trevor Lawrence, it's like he suddenly woke up after the North Carolina game and said, you know what, fine, we'll stop messing around. Let's do this thing for real. And at this point, the best analogy I can make, and Austin, you'll appreciate this as somebody that can kick the snot out of people. If you're watching Mike Tyson in his prime, and he beats me up, and then Mike Tyson in his prime goes and beats up Trey Wingo, and Mike Tyson in his prime goes up and beats somebody else up, you can stand there all day and say, yeah, he's not fighting anybody, but you're still watching Mike Tyson in his prime. And we let the narrative about who they're fighting eclipse the fact that, man, they are beating the snot out of everybody because they're still Clemson. They're still really, really good. And as much as I think Ohio State's a great football team this year, I don't know how you beat Clemson, and Clemson's been there before in the playoff in the biggest possible way. So that's the best game of the entire system we're going to get. I think it's probably going to be better than the championship game. And right now, if you're asking me today, I think Clemson wins it. But it's not because of Clemson this year. It's because Clemson knows how to prepare. They know how to use the time off. They know how to get their bodies right, their minds right. Like, there's so many little advantages in a tight game. I think it plays to Clemson.
I know I'm definitely paying for a Tyson Wingo pay-per-view. No
oh, my God, yeah. Aren't we all?
Hey, if that's the case, then, Jason, go ahead and get me an Austin Lane versus Brett Martineau, like a prelim then.
Undercard,
I'll play
like
on the undercard. I'll do it for free.
I thought I was going to get in the lane with you. I thought like maybe you and I were going to have a little fun, like tap dance. I was going to talk a little smack and make 3 words out and then you'd level me. Come on,
Jason,
man.
Jason, you know what, man? We share various, as far as opinions concerned about cake and pie, we're different there. We share a lot of different tastes, but at the end of the day, I still respect you. Brett Martin, on the other hand, he starts to earn my respect. So we'll see.
There's a reason Brent has to keep a bat next to his chair here in the sports office.
I mean, let's be honest. I would get out the words pie is, and then I'd be done. I wouldn't even get to the stop finish. Pie is, Pam. And the world would wonder what I had to say to finish the statement.
Awesome. We're being joined by Jason Fitz, soon to be the host of First Take, Your Take, coming up on ESPN Radio starting January 20th. You'll hear that from 1 to 3 o'clock right here on ESPN 690, preceding Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Austin Lane and Brent Martineau. Stuart Weber filling in today, and we're talking with Jason about college football. Big day for college football tomorrow, and there aren't any games being played. It is early signing day, and for so many of these young student athletes across the country, they're making these decisions in December more than ever because so many of these top guys are moving on to the next level and early enrolling. How big of a day is tomorrow for all these major college football programs that kind of have to put aside bowl prep for this week and really lock down some of those major players? And we got a ton of them here in the Northeast Florida, Southeast Georgia area that want to sign early.
Yeah, I think it's the most interesting change in college football other than the transfer portal has been the addition of the early signing day and what it really allows players to do. It gives some players some movement and some ability to get locked in and then start their college careers early. It's huge. It's under talked about. And I really think Alabama's going to come out and make a statement at early signing day because they have to. And their recruiting class is expected to be great. I never thought we'd be at a spot where we'd be talking about Alabama's recruiting class like it's a big deal. But if there's anything we know, it's that they're fired up about any thought that Alabama as a program is deteriorating. So Saban's going to come out pretty aggressive, I think, over the course of the next couple of days. They've been working a little harder than ever just to make sure that they come out victorious in the court of public opinion on where the program is headed moving forward. And the best way they can do that now, when all they have is a bowl game that most people will excuse if they lose and won't give any credit if they win. They're now in that spin where most schools are on bowl game weekend. When they're not in any sort of a playoff situation, the only thing they can win now is recruiting. So I think they're going to win there. But keep an eye on the Florida schools particularly. I'll be interested to see if Mike Norvell can have any success so quickly, a coach that I believe in so much, a coach that I think is absolutely spectacular, but didn't get a lot of time to get any headway made at Florida State. So if he can pull off even one big recruit out of the weekend that feels like it's his, that's a huge moment for him in Florida State. So there's new coaches are going to have a quick opportunity to make a big statement.
You mentioned two schools with ties to here in Jacksonville because of the quarterback position. Mike Norvell losing the commitment of Jeff Sims from Sandalwood here in Jacksonville. And Alabama has a starting quarterback right now from here, the bowl school product, Mac Jones. And so many people just want to look past Mac Jones and just say, oh, he's just there. He's just a backup quarterback. But I feel like you don't have backup quarterbacks at Alabama. Like you don't have backups in any position. You just have future starters because these guys are all 5-star, 4-stars coming in and getting groomed. How much of a emphasis on quarterback is Alabama going to have? Because a lot of people completely dismiss the fact that Mac Jones is there and is capable. You're just throwing this guy out there and having him try to replace a guy who might have gone number 1 in the NFL draft.
Yeah, and Mac's going to be a star. And look, the transfer portal is going to be his buddy if he loses the job to his younger brother. If the next Tagovailoa wins the job, Mac's going to turn around and be a star somewhere. The best thing that happened to him, frankly, was getting the opportunity to put some tape out there and show everybody what he can do. Because if he doesn't win the job, I think he's going to find himself out more quickly. There's not the same level of patience for college quarterbacks in general, and rightfully so. You know, they're out there trying to win a job. So, I think Mac is absolutely – he's got a shot at being the Alabama guy this year. I don't think it's a given that they're just going to give this job over to Tagovailoa. So, yeah, there's still some room to be done here. And, by the way, I think he's the type of quarterback that can win a national championship. He's incredibly good. So, there's a lot of land for him. And you mentioned Norvell losing the quarterback recruit. I'll say this loud, as much as I've said anything about Coach that has stood out to me, I talked to him at game day when we were in Memphis, and the thing that really stunned me was a couple of years ago, his offense was really run-heavy with two guys that are now in the NFL, and last year his offense looked much different. And some people take that as a lack of offensive identity, and I talked to Coach, and I said, why the change? Why such change in the way you do it? And the thing that he said that will stand out to me forever is that Coach said, man, sometimes you look around the roster and you say, okay, what do we have and how can we make these guys successful? It's not about my system, it's about their system. And any coach that says that, which is far more rare in college sports than we think it is, any coach that has that sort of ability to weave, it might take a minute for Norvell to get the recruits he wants because people are trying to figure out what his system is. But once people figure out that he will work with stars to make stars even bigger stars, I think he's going to have tremendous success.
Talking here from ESPN, Jason Fitz. Just a few more quick questions, Jason, then we'll let you go. Quick question. LSU, I assume you probably have winning the championship, or do you have somebody else winning the championship?
Yeah, I think LSU beats Clemson, but, it's going to be close. But, yeah.
Well, and that was my question is, how do you stop LSU? I mean, what do you do to win that ball game if you're playing against them?
You know what? You've got to have great contain on Joe Burrow. And the fact is you've got to have a pass rush that can get to Joe Burrow quickly and can also keep him in the pocket. The most stunning thing for me standing on the sidelines of the SEC championship game and watching Burrow work is that Georgia had him wrapped up. They had him done, and they just couldn't bring him down. You've got to have defenders on the defensive line that can get the push. You don't need to. You got to be able to get to him without sending extra because he'll find the hole. So you got to be able to get to him, and you got to be able to keep him down once you get your hands on him. So I believe in Clemson's defensive line's ability to do that to a certain extent. But man, Burrow is just so athletic. It's really been stunning to watch his transformation and his ability to keep plays alive. And even after the play has been kept alive, his ability to keep the ball moving downfield, it's stunning. So that's the key. That's where Clemson has to win that battle. That's where Oklahoma's not going to win that battle. They're going to get shredded and stomped.
And Joe Burrow is obviously being one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant quarterback this year in college football. And then that kind of leads up to my next question real quick. When you talk about guys like Joe Burrow, the Heisman winner, you got Justin Herbert out of Oregon, Jalen Hurts, you got Tua even, who unfortunately has been hurt this year. But when you talk about the next level, the NFL, the transition, what quarterbacks out of that group that I just named do you see having success right away?
Burrow's going to have quick success. I believe that. I don't think it's as easy for the rest of the group that you mentioned. If Tua didn't have the health issues, I'd feel better about it. But, and then when you mentioned Justin Herbert, you talk about somebody that came back specifically because there were things he was going to work on in his game to get better, namely completion in mid-level passes, and it didn't happen. He didn't get better. So Herbert seems to just be the same that he was last year. So a little concern there. I was surprised this morning on Go Look and Wingo. Todd McShay said that he thinks Jake Fromm has one of the best opportunities to come in and be quickly successful. I haven't seen that from Fromm, and we're not sure he's even coming out yet. So we'll see where it plays. But, Burrow's the one that I would put money on. The rest of them after that, I don't feel great about Jalen Hurts at the next level quickly. And without knowing Tua's health, and he won't even be walking for months, man, that's a tough one for me also.
ESPN's Jason Fitz, man, thanks for coming on the show. Like I said, it's probably the last time we're going to have you on for a while here, but you know what it is, man. There's always a backdoor policy. You're more than welcome to come on anytime. We can talk college football. We can talk NFL. We can talk chicken sandwiches, and we can talk about the debate between pie versus cake.
No, I ain't going anywhere. You know that. Y'all have a great holiday. I can't wait. We'll keep this going for sure. You guys have a great holiday.
Awesome, Jason. You too, man.
Interesting that he mentions Burrow being the one who could be the most successful. The Jaguars do travel to Cincinnati, who likely will have the number one pick and first crack at Joe Burrow in this year's NFL draft. Jags might have to face Joe Burrow in 2020.
Good call. I like that.
We'll see. See how it goes.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to go to a break here?
Yeah.
All right. I like Jason Fitz, man. Listen, any dude that can rock tattoos and be confident on ESPN.
And play a fiddle.
I play a fiddle too. Yeah, that's cool. But it's mostly because you don't see a lot of guys with tattoos on ESPN.
It'll be a good lead-in for our show moving forward.
Yeah, so I guess he always gives me hope.
Yeah,
I mean, I can do whatever I want around here, so I'm fine. But eventually,
you're our tattoo guy.
I am the tattoo guy. I'm really the only. Well, Coos has a couple tattoos as well.
Small of the back doesn't count.
You?
What?
Do you have tattoos?
I don't have any. No.
You ever thought about it?
I'm not foolish enough to make a bet on the air that says I'll get one day.
Oh, no one's asking you to make a bet.
I'm just saying,
asking you.
I never really have even thought about it. No.
You're just not inspired to.
Nah, not really.
Well, you're kind of like the outlier of society now. You realize that, right? With no tattoos, you're the outlier.
That's okay.
All right. Well, I think that's probably enough tattoo talk for today. We'll cover some more football stuff, Drew Brees, and obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars going forward here on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
A tornado watch now in effect for Baker County and Nassau County until 7 p.m. tonight. We'll be watching a line of thunderstorms move into the area later on this afternoon. Something we'll be watching for some potential damaging wind gusts, maybe even some isolated hail, and also an isolated tornado possible. With your First Alert Forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenwall.
The most wonderful time of the year deserves the most wonderful sale of the year. And for that, you got to go see Arlington Toyota, where you can still get huge Toyotathon savings and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. With over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, that's a whole lot of Toyotathon savings happening right now at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $16,995. Now it's only $12,481. That's $12,481 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington. Got to have a 2019 Toyota Tacoma? It's not $24,575. No way. Now it's just $28,991. Just $28,991 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Tacoma at Arlington. Plus, you're going to get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Toyotathon is on, but it won't last forever. Get in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s at Arlington Toyota. In person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details. The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Where now through December 24th, get 20% off everything in the store, including loose diamonds, only at Beard's Diamonds.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Glenn Levine from the law offices of Anajar Levine. Car accidents can turn your life upside down. Your car is damaged, you're in pain, injuries can even create problems at work. While there's no magic wand, our team is ready to get you back on your feet as soon as possible. Call the law offices of Anajar Levine at 904-600-4000 for a consultation. That's 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
Small business owners, it's been a great year, and now it's time to begin to make some end-of-year decisions. Instead of giving your hard-earned money to the tax man, consider reinvesting in your business with a quality pre-owned truck, van, or commercial work vehicle from Jacksonville Truck Center. With the largest selection of pre-owned work vehicles in North Florida and easy commercial financing, let us be your one-stop shop to get the job done today. We're on the corner of Arlington Expressway and Southside Connector. Stop by today or visit us at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville Roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
For hungry families, for those facing depression, for nearly anyone in need, we're here. We're Jewish Family and Community Services, supporting people of every age, race, and religion. Jewish Family and Community Services. Learn more at hereforjacks.com.
The holidays are on the horizon. That means family and food. Hey, everybody, I'm Brent Martineau. Let Renna's Pizza help you out. Parties at school, parties at work, celebrations, or maybe you're just tired of cooking yourself. Renna's has you covered with 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Want a fresh one? Renna's makes everything fresh. New York-style pizza, sandwiches, salads, and pasta dishes. Everything fresh. Find out why Renna's has been a family favorite for over 40 years. 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach.
Over half of all men suffer from ED or PE. If you're one of them, either can be embarrassing, but they're both very treatable. Fortunately, Prime Men's Medical Center has the solution. Meet Dr. Rabinski, a specialist in men's health.
If you're not the man you used to be in the bedroom because of ED or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom blended medications designed just for you. There's no pain or surgery. If you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues, not a problem. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, it's affordable.
For a private consultation with our highly skilled physicians, call Prime Men's Medical Center, 904-206-8105. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or there's no charge for your consultation. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Hey, boss. I could sure use some cheering up. Hey, do one of your holiday poems for me, would you?
All right. How about this one? 'Twas the week before Christmas, and all through the town, Safe Touch was gone. They were nowhere to be found.
Oh, I like it already.
The do-it-yourself alarms, just as simple as pie, claim to be good, but crooks know it's a lie.
Yeah, we do.
No more stressing about Safe Touch's response guarantee, because the do-it-yourself alarms don't have one, you see?
Do-it-yourself alarms have no response guarantee?
And that's why it's plain to see that the Crooks Are Us rule reminds us every day staying away from Safe Touch houses is the price we gotta pay.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags may have won on Sunday, but they took an L in the latest round of arbitration with the NFLPA. According to a statement released by the NFLPA, in the last 2 years, more than 25% of the grievances filed by players in the entire league have been filed against the Jaguars. There's a new leader in all-time passing touchdowns. Who dat? It's Saints quarterback Drew Brees, who passed Peyton Manning's mark in a blowout win against the Colts last night on Monday Night Football.
Will he get it here? Yes! Touchdown pass, 540 in the 504.
Joe Tessitore on the call. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices, premium service, and Tire Outlet always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
If you could take one college football coach right now and send him to Jacksonville.
Matt Rule, not just because he's so offensively talented, he is the type of person that believes in creating an environment and a culture, and I think that matters in the NFL now, too.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, you know, as soon as the defense got lined up, I knew that the ball was coming to me. It's one of those where you're wide open. And the whole time you're just thinking, watch the ball all the way in. It's a big one. So it was a special moment.
Tight end Josh Hill talking about the catch that helped secure Drew Brees in the record books, as if Drew Brees needed any more records to his resume.
He got 2 last night.
It seems like he has them all now from the quarterback position.
Added the completion percentage in a game one as well, going 29 and 30.
Absolutely. Nuts. And the crazy thing is, from the metrics, so to go back last night, Colts, Saints, and Drew Brees goes 29 of 30. That's 96.7% for all you math nerds out there. 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating that was not perfect, though. And do you know why it wasn't perfect?
Why in the world would that not be a perfect rating?
Because the average that he had wasn't over 12 yards. Therefore, the metrics, and this is, I mean, his QBR, I think, was okay, but the other, the one
that goes to 158.3?
No, that one was good.
That one was good?
The other one.
The ESPN one?
Yes. Didn't have it as a perfect rating, which that should tell you all you need to know about analytics in terms of what they think of the quarterback position. But Drew Brees, obviously a guy who is just, it's impressive for what he's been able to accomplish and the adversities that he's been through.
How funny is it that he might set that record twice in a week? Because on Saturday, Tom Brady, if he throws 3 touchdown passes, he will take the lead for all-time touchdown passes, which is just so bizarre that everything lined up the way it did for the timing of it. So Tom Brady could take the record on Saturday, and then Drew Brees set the record again on Sunday. The question is, do you celebrate it the same way every single time now if it keeps going back and forth? Or do you just do the one time? Because every time you're setting the new record by beating somebody for it.
Yeah. That's a good point. What do you do with that? I think you have to go back and forth. I mean, if you break the record, you break the record, and you got to celebrate it again.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I would go back and forth for sure.
It's a unique situation where you have 2 people setting these career goals at the exact same time.
Yeah.
Now, they both have 21 touchdown passes this year. Granted, Drew Brees has done so in 5 less games because, of course, he was out with the thumb injury. But, you very well could see Tom Brady throw for 3 touchdowns against the Bills. Would be tough. But if he throws for 3, he breaks the record again.
For sure. So, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. With Drew Brees, though, it's like I said. I mean, the type of player that he is, the testament to his work ethic, we'll touch on that a little bit. But it's just his story, and it's one of the underdog stories of all time in the NFL, especially at the quarterback position, where this was a guy in San Diego who, well, first of all, let's be honest, comes out of college, it's too short, right? And that was back then, that's today. Everyone's got their own opinions of what a quarterback should look like, of what a quarterback should have in numbers and things like that. And sometimes those things that aren't measured at the combine make the biggest difference. And I think for Drew Brees, it was his work ethic. So he goes to, at the time, was San Diego, the Chargers, and has a head coach in Schottenheimer. And Schottenheimer and the GM, it was well known that they didn't get along well. And Drew Brees was the guy on the Chargers until they drafted Phillip Rivers, okay? And Phillip Rivers was going to be the guy that was going to come in and take over for Drew Brees. Now, keep in mind, Drew Brees is putting up some decent numbers, okay? And the fact that Schottenheimer said, well, no, I'm the head coach, I'm going to do things my way, and went with Drew Brees over Phillip Rivers, well, this created a rift on the Chargers. So much so that in a meaningless game, when playoffs were already secured, Schottenheimer chose to keep Drew Brees in and not play Phillip Rivers because of his ego. This decision changed the course of history in the NFL because on that play against the Broncos, John Lynch comes sacks Drew Brees, or I think he hit him. I don't think he even sacked him. Hits Drew Brees. Drew Brees dislocates his shoulder, a complete tear of the labrum, 50% of the collarbone, if I'm not mistaken, and he has to have surgery ASAP. And a coach's ego changed the course of history where all of a sudden then Philip Rivers had to come in, and then Philip Rivers was the face of the franchise. And teams were thinking, is Drew Brees done? And even Drew Brees thought that at the time. So then going forward after the season, Drew Brees put it upon himself to say, whoa, I still want to play. And the Dolphins were interested. The Dolphins were going to sign him. But what was the stipulation? And at the time, I'll be honest, because I remember being a kid, and for a reason, I was kind of a Chargers fan. I remember being a kid, and I remember my stepdad talking about this because we're a big NFL family, and I remember the media talking about this. When Drew Brees came out and said that he wants to go to a new spot, obviously, as a free agent, but he wants to do it as a starter. And he refused to go to any team that wouldn't start him. Well, Miami was the most interested. Miami said, well, you have to earn that starting spot, man. We're going to bring you in, but you got to earn it. Drew Brees said no. And I remember as a kid, the narrative was, well, that's a selfish move. This is a move of a guy who you still got to play to earn it. You know, you just can't go into a team and expect to play right away, especially after that big injury. You got to come in and prove yourself. Well, Sean Payton, the New Orleans Saints said, we'll take you up on that bet. And you'll be the starter for day one, and we'll see how it goes from there. Well, that decision from number one, Schottenheimer, to get Drew Brees hurt, and then number two, for Sean Payton to take a gamble on Drew Brees, that's changed the NFL forever.
Pretty wild when you think about the fact that Drew Brees and Philip Rivers have both been playing the entire time since then.
Yeah.
You know, that roster had two guys, two legitimate faces of franchises, and how tough a decision that has to be, not only for the coach, but for the GM. Luckily, another team's GM came and knocked him out. Of course, John Lynch wasn't a GM at the time, but maybe he was thinking ahead, knocking him out and using his GM skills.
Good
future GM skills.
Some kind of like a Terminator kind of call back there. Yeah. He went back in time to do it. I got you. I like your style.
Yeah, that's what happened. It's so interesting to me that Drew Brees goes and sets the record this week, the same week that Reggie Bush sends out that video of him staying after practice. For those who haven't seen it, go on Twitter, go to Reggie Bush's feed and do it with the audio up, because hearing how Reggie speaks about Drew Brees in such a flattering tone, as you see him off in the distance in an empty practice facility 40 minutes after practice had ended, going through mental reps and just running through all the plays. It's very impactful, and you don't even have to be an athlete to really be able to get something from it, to gain something from it, and to see how the hard work can really pay off. And it's amazing that comes out kind of the same week as we're seeing Drew Brees go and do this, great thing and set this career goal, this career record for just, being that guy, being able to hang in there, throw so many touchdown passes over the years, and really have that no quit attitude and that effort that you speak of to go out there and be that guy, despite what critics may say that, maybe he's not big enough, which makes me think, hey, we kind of have a quarterback on the Jaguars roster that a lot of people think isn't big enough.
Yeah.
Well, what lessons can he learn from a guy like Drew Brees when you're talking about, forgetting what the critics say and just going out there and balling, which is partially what we've seen from Minshew with that moxie, with that non-chartable ability that you just can't get in a combine.
Well, yeah, and that's a good point, and we'll break that down a little bit of what can Minshew learn from Drew Brees to be successful going forward here. And I guess
having the best wide receiver in the game doesn't hurt.
Oh, there you go. And
can we get one of those?
Well, and having an offensive-minded genius as a head coach helps as well. And having a good running game helps as well.
Team sport.
It is a team sport. And if you want to break down Drew Brees and, yes, the work ethic, his football IQ, his leadership qualities, the one that you don't really hear a lot about that I felt more than any other NFL quarterback, except maybe for Philip Rivers. It's funny, they're in the same conversation. But I think he's even got Philip Rivers beat here, is the intensity. And I've shared this story before, and I'm going to share it again. Drew Brees and myself, what I think about Drew Brees, it's a love-hate relationship. Okay, now I say hate in quotes because I got nothing but respect for the guy.
It's the term.
But as someone who grew up watching Drew Brees as a kid myself, he was one of the best. And it was a guy I had a lot of respect for. And I think it was back in 2011, 2012. I can't remember the exact year it was. But we're playing the New Orleans Saints. in Jacksonville. And you knew Drew Brees was the leader of that team, right? Like, you always watch the breakdowns. He's breaking down the huddle, and he's screaming, and he's hitting. But, like, to me, I'm like, dude, you're a quarterback. Relax, okay? Come on. So let's be genuine here. Because to me, like, Drew Brees was the good boy. You know, like, he was the goody-goody guy and things of that nature. Well, believe me when I say that I heard more F-bombs, more you like that a la Kirk Cousins and things of that, talking smack to the defense the entire game. I was flabbergasted. And, you know, and Philip Rivers is like that too. But guess what? Philip Rivers isn't cussing. Like, Philip Rivers will annoy the heck out of you. And
90-yard touchdown.
Exactly. And trust me, that's probably even more annoying than a guy that swears at you.
Yes.
Because, like, he's going out of his way to, number one, kind of be an a-hole. And number two, you're not even swearing at me. And it's like I said before. I mean, like, I can't imagine that kid like a Vacation Bible School. He must have just been a tear to be around. Like, if you're playing Uno with him during Vacation Bible School, can you imagine playing Uno with Philip Rivers at Vacation Bible School? Absolutely not.
No, because he's holding all those draw fours and reverses, and he's just going to go bam, bam, bam right at the end and then stick it to you.
Sounds horrible. So, getting back to Drew Brees and then that Saints game in Jacksonville. When we're scouting Drew Brees, you know, obviously we go through where's their honey hole? Where do they like to step up? Okay. Who are the game wreckers? Who do we got to stop? Okay. Where does he like to scramble out to? Okay, got it. On that list, and we put it sometimes you don't, is the fact that how mobile they are and how much should you approach it. And depending on how mobile a quarterback is kind of depends like how much you should change up your pass rush move a little bit, right? Where if you're in a lot of games against a mobile quarterback, he's going to expose you. We were not worried about Drew Brees being a supreme athlete and a mobile quarterback, okay? So back in the first quarter, just the start of the game, it's either first or second down, and I'm out there on the left side, and I'll never forget it. The tight end doesn't block me, and the tackle goes down. So immediately I think to myself, well, there's two possibilities. It's going to be an outside run away from me, or it's going to be a bootleg. Well, the tackle doesn't go take the tackle that I'm on the left side, doesn't take the linebacker. He just goes straight down. In the league, we call that elephants on parade. And the reason we call it elephants on parade is because everyone is going in the same direction and there's no depth. When that happens, boot. So immediately I'm like, oh, here comes the boot. Fantastic. So it was a naked boot, nothing coming back. Me and Drew Brees one-on-one. Doesn't even see me coming. I'm like, yep, here's a sack for me. First one of the season. Can't wait. Drew Brees, looking forward to it. And believe me when I tell you, that he saw me coming, and it was like in slow motion. You know, like I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm going to get my first sack of the season. I cannot wait. Drew Brees sees me, and out of nowhere, with Mike Vick cat-like abilities, stutters a little bit, and I bite on it. And, like, believe me when I said, and listen, I don't like talking bad about myself, but I'm being honest. Believe me when I say that Drew Brees broke my ankles to the point where I'm falling down with no Drew Brees in my hands, and I'm falling, and I'm just thinking it's in slow motion. I'm like, oh, F. And he got away. And then he completed, like, I think it was like an 8-yard pass to the tight end. And I remember coming to the sidelines, coach pulled me out. And, like, you know, usually, like, where if you make a bad play like that where a quarterback shakes you, like, players will, you know, make fun of you and give you some crap, or even coaches sometimes. Because we're still young in the game. There's plenty of game to go. I think it was 0-0. I come to the sidelines, and you would have thought I was like a pitcher going for a perfect game.
Nobody talked to you.
I was just like, everyone's just like, But that's not the end of the story then. So now let's fast forward to the third quarter. I have to get one back here. I just got embarrassed on national television. If Twitter was more of a thing, I'm sure it would have been replaying everywhere and trending.
It'd be a GIF, yeah.
In all the bad ways, right? Mm-hmm. So third quarter, I forgot how much we're down by, but Drew Brees drops back for a pass, and it was a tight end option. And the reason it was a tight end option, what that means basically is it was a one route play, and it was going to the tight end regardless. The tight end had an option to either go inside or outside. Well, Darryl Smith, being the beast that he was, put the tight end on his back. No play. Drew Brees sees this, holds the ball, and I get to Drew Brees. Now, he's in my arms. I am not letting you go, Drew Brees. And keep in mind, this is little me in middle school and high school watching Drew Brees. Like, this is the moment. I can't wait. So I sack Drew Brees. I drive him to the ground in true fashion like I used to do. I kind of gave him a little extra after because, hey, I wanted you to feel me, especially as a guy who shook my ankles. that's payback. So I kind of push him a little bit, and it was nothing like blatant. It wasn't, it wasn't really, it was intentional, but it wasn't like violent.
Yeah.
I kind of give him a little extra right there. I'm saying a little right there, Drew. I get up, he stands up, and this guy, all 5 foot whatever of him, gets in my face, and he goes, "What was that MF?" And normally, if someone does that to me, I'm going to retaliate. He says it to me, Drew Brees, Mr. Wholesome guy, says it to me, and I'm like, my bad. Like, I literally, like, you would have thought that I was getting called to principal's office and I'm trying to show their most respect as possible. You would have thought that I was pulled over by JSO going 120 and they want to see my license registration. I was literally to the point I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, that was my bad, man. Like, no. I just said you. Forget you. Like, let's go. But no, like that's the effect Drew Brees had on me. But so I guess to go back and try to put a little bow on my synopsis here, what I think about the intensity, that's the untold thing of Drew Brees, where he knows when to turn it on and turn it off. And that's a key thing, Stuart, that players will feed off of, right? Like, yeah, it's one thing to be the guy all the time who can throw the ball in the right spots, who can be dependable, who can be that leader, but also to be that guy who can light a fire under somebody and it's genuine. It's not fake. It's not contrived. It's genuine. That's a rare combination.
And if you saw any of the Gardner Minshew postgame, in the locker room and just getting that team huddled up and firing them up after a big win, you kind of be like, man, I hope this is the future. I hope this is something that works, that continues to work and maybe works in the first half of a game as well. Maybe he needs to give that speech before the game.
For sure.
Would be something. But, yeah, it's interesting how you say that, and that's one of those things that people don't see. You can't see it. It's on the field. It's part of the game, and one of those things that if you're not part of it, if you're not playing in it, you're not seeing it, you view people in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's great to get that insight and to kind of hear that player's perspective and that perspective on the field with Drew Brees, and it's great that you can say one of your career sacks came against Drew Brees.
Absolutely.
Chalk that one up.
Well, and then going forward now, so let's put the Jaguars' perspective behind it a little bit. When Gardner Minshew's coming out of Washington State, I think two things were evident. The scouts questioned, did he have the arm strength? And the scouts also questioned, did he fit the prototypical size of an NFL player? Right? Because it's like I said before, everyone's got their preconceived notions of what an NFL quarterback's supposed to look like. He's not supposed to have tattoos. He's not supposed to have a mustache. He's supposed to be a clean-cut guy with a beautiful wife and a wholesome family. That's like the stereotypical NFL quarterback, it seems like. And to be fair, Minshew, not any of those things right now.
No.
We just saw a picture of Minshew during his off day, so it must have happened today or prior, where he was deer hunting with
Logan Cook.
And now,
terrific picture, by the way.
It's an
Logan.
awesome picture.
Thank
Check
you
it
for
out.
Posting that.
Now, Gardner Minshew has a little blood coming from his head, so either you gutted the deer a little bit and you hit the stomach acid, which I don't think you did, or you scoped yourself, which it happens. Maybe you don't shoot a 30-06 because I assume that's what it was if you're Gardner Minshew and you scope yourself, because that guy spends a lot of time in the weight room, so who knows. But what do you take from Drew Brees if you're Gardner Minshew? Obviously, the size they have in common. Obviously, I think the smarts both have pretty good IQs. I think Gardner Minshew will improve as he gets more reps. But what does Drew Brees bring to the table that Gardner Minshew can learn from? And it's the things that I said with, I think the intensity is there, right? The leadership qualities are there. What I think, though, is the fact that the cool thing about Drew Brees, and I only got to play, I played against him twice, once in preseason and once in the regular season. The cool thing about Drew Brees, it's almost like nobody told him that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
He doesn't think of himself like that. He doesn't buy into his own hype. And winning over everything, and he said it many times before to the point where it's become mundane, winning is more important than any of the stats. Like, everything that he does, it's to win a Super Bowl. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have a family outside the NFL, and you can do stuff like that. But everything that he does is to win a Super Bowl. So from Gardner Minshew's perspective, you just got to win, man. And people are going to rally around you. And that's what you're starting to see already, and this is something that comes with time, Stuart. This comes with earning your stripes.
Sure.
You don't just come into a team as an NFL rookie, I don't care who you are, and expect to win over the locker room. I think Cam Newton had a little issue with that. I think Jameis Winston for some time as a rookie had some issue with that. A lot of rookies have issues with that. But the one thing that Gardner Minshew has going for him right now is the fact that locker room, they want to take the selfies with them. They want to tell stories about Gardner Minshew. And those are the kind of intangibles that you can't coach. As a quarterback, either you have those things like Drew Brees does or you don't. And I think Gardner Minshew so far has some of those qualities.
And I think a key part to that is you talk about how important it is to win. I think the interesting thing is that there's so many different ways to win. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to be a carbon copy of anybody because you're going to have your own way to get this done and to get that W and to do it on the field on Sundays. Drew Brees will have his ways. Certainly there's some things you can learn from and apply to yourself, but you're never going to be that guy. He is himself. He is an individual. Now, coming from a similar situation, can you learn some things from it? Yes. But at the same time, you have to know what works for you to win. Mm-hmm. What is it that you can do to elevate your game to the highest possible level when you're out there on a Sunday, or in Drew's case, a Monday? I won't say that for the Jags because, well, they never get to play on Mondays. Thank goodness, by the way. That'd be so much more work on a Monday.
Don't worry, it's just the Thursday night game against the Titans every single year.
That's right.
It's a tradition like no other.
It really is. Yeah. So glad that they were able to do that on the what's the YouTube show that they have with the cartoons. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Okay.
I'll remember what it is in the next block. But they made fun of that fact, as they should. But the point here is that, yes, you can learn from Drew Brees as a guy of shorter stature who's out there doing his thing and just balling, granted with the best wide receiver in the game and an offensive genius as a coach and a great running game.
Yeah.
But these are things that you can take from and be like, okay, I can be successful. I can go out there and do this if I apply myself to it and I find what works for me. What is my way to do this?
And the most important thing to keep in mind as well, and then the Jaguars brought Nick Foles in because I think John DeFilippo, he had a little bit of a rapport with Nick Foles back in Philly, and that's important to do. And when you talk about Sean Payton and you talk about Drew Brees, they have a rapport because when nobody else gave Drew Brees a chance, Sean Payton did. And then that's an offensive-minded genius right there. So they already have that rapport. So something to keep in mind. And I don't know what goes into the hiring process coming up now with the new regime coming in if you're Shad Khan. I don't know what you look at. But it's going to be important to realize the new regime coming in, are they all in on Gardner Minshew or are they all in on somebody in the draft? Those are the two instances. If you're kind of like, we'll see. Or in the draft, it's kind of like, we'll see. That's the last thing you want to do. Because if you look at Andy Reid, if you look at all the successful quarterback stories in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes, for instance, they took a chance on Patrick Mahomes. No one was breaking up Patrick Mahomes really out of college. But the Chiefs knew what they wanted, they traded up, and they got the job done. And with Minshew here, you may have caught a diamond in the rough in the 6th round, and the new coaching staff coming in, either two things. Either you love him and he's your guy going forward, you're not on the fence about him, or you say, you know what, he's a backup, and let's go in the draft. Obviously, I think he's a starter going forward, but I just want the regime to be passionate about their quarterback, just like Sean Payton was with Drew Brees. More after the break here on ESPN 690.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show.
What happened to us as a society? I'm talking about this insatiable appetite to express every damn thing. What were we doing before Twitter? It just drives me crazy. You know what you did before Twitter? You sat up there and mumbled something under your breath. Or you mumbled something in the privacy of conversation. It didn't have to be disseminated to millions. What the hell is wrong with us?
The Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
The UNF Ospreys sweep Southern Miss. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau, and this is your Swoop Minute. The men's basketball team improving to 7-5 on the season after a 72-69 win Saturday on the road. It was UNF's first true road win of the year. The Ospreys poured in 15 three-pointers, and Carter Henderson picked up his 4th double-double of the season, 13 points and 10 rebounds. 5 players scoring in double figures, JT Escobar and Garrett Sams leading the way with 14 each. UNF continues its 7-game road stretch with an 8:30 tip-off tonight against Florida State in Tallahassee. The women's basketball team was off this week because of finals. They, too, will play Florida State, that one, on Wednesday night when they get back to action. The softball team releasing its 2020 schedule. Of the 51 games, 41 will be played in the state of Florida. UNF will play 22 home games and 3 contests against Power 5 teams, Purdue, Virginia Tech, and Florida. Check out UNFOspreys.com for news, schedules, and results.
Lowe's has the supplies pros like you use most every day and the quantities needed for any size job. Need gypsum, ready mix, and dry compound? We have it in stock and ready to go when you are. And for everyday savings, get volume savings on in-stock insulation and drywall panels. Order at Lowe'sForPros.com and have your order delivered to save time. Or pick up in store, where our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site faster. Whatever you need to stock up for your next job, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, U.S. only.
In search of a battery that won't let you down, even in the lowest temperatures? We've got you covered at America's #1 battery destination. At AutoZone, we have the proven tough Duralast batteries you need to drive with peace of mind this winter. They're tested in extreme conditions, which means you can count on them to deliver when you need them most. Stop in today or visit AutoZone.com, and we'll help you find the start you're looking for. Based on data from the MPD Group Incorporated, Car Care Track 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Never trust your tax situation to anyone you can't walk in and look in the eye. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
New flavors and a rating that would make men jealous. Hey everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brett Martineau. Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. It's new and it's getting rave reviews.
Made in Tequila, Mexico and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Vita de Louis is available in 3 flavors.
And those flavors are Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Try all 3. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For merchandise and more, visit VitaDeLouis.com.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you.
Okay.
Then you need to be online where they look for you.
Online, huh?
Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for all that. I need to run my business. Alexa, can you help me find someone that can help me with online marketing?
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level so you can get back to running it. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Lions are bringing back GM Bob Quinn and head coach Matt Patricia for the 2020 season, giving them a third year to try and build their program. It's not the playoffs or else, but owner Martha Ford does say there needs to be tangible progress next season. Former Giants corner Janoris Jenkins said to officially join the Saints today after being claimed on waivers. Bringing in Jenkins will certainly elevate a New Orleans team that's among the NFC's best, believes ESPN's Jack Del Rio.
Drew Brees put on a show last night, obviously Mike Thomas's go-to guy, and he was red hot. 29 out of 30, are you kidding me? But what it's going to be about is their defense is rounded into shape. I really believe this Janoris Jenkins pickup is going to be a key factor in them having a chance to make a deep run. And I think they're the deepest team in the NFC.
Georgia offensive lineman Andrew Thomas declared for the NFL draft. ESPN's Todd McShay has him going to the Jets 7th overall in his latest mock draft. North Carolina star freshman Cole Anthony, a potential top 5 pick in the 2020 NBA draft, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks recovering from a knee procedure.
Don't let the big talk from the big wireless carriers fool you. Straight Talk Wireless runs on the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost. Get the unlimited plan with up to 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. No contract. Straight Talk Wireless, only at Walmart.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
For the nucleus of guys who are going to be here, you're building a culture, and these games are critical for that. You know, just coming into a hostile environment, a team that's desperate, and find a way to win, even when things are going against you. You got ups and downs to the flow of the game, and I'm just proud of my guys for fighting, believing, and, this going to pay off.
That is Jaguars defensive lineman Calais Campbell after the Jaguars' victory over the Oakland Raiders 20-16 on Sunday. Speaking to Brent Martineau and myself in the locker room, and he was exhausted. Like, he couldn't get up out of his chair. He was completely spent. He put everything into that game, as you would expect for a leader of this team. And at first, he didn't want to talk because he wanted the other guys to get to enjoy a winning locker room, a winning chance to talk to the media. But when you're the guy who talks when they lose, we talk to you when you win, too. So it's good to chat with Calais after the game and get his thoughts and let him revel in the victory a little bit. Here on ESPN 690, Action Sports Jax Radio, Stuart Weber filling in for Brent Martineau, who's off enjoying a day in Wonderland, while Austin Lane and I look outside at the dark skies.
Yeah, it's getting pretty intense out there.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is coming. So if you haven't noticed, around this time, we usually bring in John Bachman.
Yes.
Well, not this time. In the 4 o'clock hour, because by now he's actually on the news. And suffice to say, John, a little busy today. One of the stories he brought up yesterday was, of course, the Amber Alert on the Williams siblings. Good news, they have been found. Of course, for all the latest on that, you can either listen to WOKV News on the radio side or check out Action News Jax on CBS 47, the live team coverage going on right now. They can bring you all the latest on that. But good news, Amber Alert canceled. The 2 young children have been found. So that is a positive thing.
That's awesome.
To bring up. And the reason why John Bachman's not here today, because he's working.
Yeah. Well,
that will happen sometimes.
Well, then obviously another news story I feel like is developing is what we see outside right now.
Yeah, some storms are on the way. Garrett Beedenball, one of our first alert meteorologists, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish today, providing all the latest on that. But a strong cell of storms, it's making its way through the Jacksonville area here over the next little bit. The heavy rain and gusty winds for the evening commute are on their way in. So if you're out there on the roads right now listening to the show, certainly be safe. Drive cautiously. Don't put on your blinker lights. That's not what you do when it's raining heavily.
Good call.
I know some people do that, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's actually illegal to do that.
Yeah.
FYI. And for all the latest on that, you can also listen to our folks on Action News Jax and let you know about these storms coming through. I know we had a tornado watch at one point earlier in the day. I haven't seen any tornado warnings.
Okay.
Of course, the difference between those, a watch means that it is possible that something will develop. A warning means something has developed. So certainly we're keeping an eye on that. There are severe thunderstorm watches and warnings as well out there. So certainly something to keep an eye on.
So here's what we're going to do, Stuart.
Okay.
And it's very dark outside. Storms are coming. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're coming.
Levees could be breaking, as the Led Zeppelin song would indicate.
I don't think we have any of those in Jacksonville.
No,
but
I'm just saying,
yes.
but you have beaches and
There will be riders on the storm.
Right, I like that even better.
Yeah.
What's up, Doors? Okay, but here's what I want to do. After we're done with this segment, or after we're done with this, we're going to break, the next break, I'm going to write down a number. Or actually, no, you know what? I'm going to send you a piece of paper.
Okay.
And I want you to write down the number.
Yes.
And the number is going to be how much it would cost for me to pay you to take me to the newsroom, and you just hand me the keys. Don't ask any questions. You just hand me the keys to the storm tracker, and then you just go the opposite direction, like it never even happened, okay? And no one's going to ever know a thing except for the thousands and millions.
Except for the recorded copy of this that's everywhere.
Don't worry about the radio show right now. It's just me and you talking. Hey, this is as two friends talking, man.
This might work with Marcel, but I use more logic when I'm thinking about these things.
I'm just going to slide you a piece of paper.
Okay.
You write down your price. Just write down a number, and then show me how you sign your name, okay? I want to see how you sign your name. That's all I want to do.
It's pretty fancy.
I would like to point out the kids these days would turn this into a video opportunity to say how many likes do I have to get until.
Are you concerned about your likes?
No, he's saying you would be.
You would say that.
To be able to.
Like you'd put it out on Twitter and say, if this gets
so many likes, I take the storm tracker.
Stuart has to give me the storm tracker.
That's what he's trying to say.
Okay,
here.
I got you. Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm 32 years old. I don't have Instagram. What do you want me to do?
But it's a Twitter thing, too.
You'd be surprised.
This is something you would do in your other radio show, Coos.
I was going to say, it's definitely a TikTok thing right now. Yeah.
Once again, don't have TikTok either. So I'm going to slide you a piece of paper.
Okay.
And we'll go on it from there. But since we do have some storms rolling in, you know what mixes well with storms? Storm parties.
How about that? I wonder what we could use for a storm party.
How about a little bit of Vida de Louis?
Party now begin. See the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace. No. Nothing. Anything goes. Gangsters rolling, half face smiling. It's all about think of the rhythm what you're drinking. Anything goes. Hey.
Grab a drink, get a shot. Tip your bartenders, Stockton to Malone. What do you got for us, Stuart?
Stockton to Malone. I like it. A locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville. Made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Louis Tequila, the smoothest tequila you will ever taste. For locations, recipes, and that fine merchandise, visit VidaDeLouis.com and be sure to drink responsibly, especially when a storm's a-coming.
I like that. And that's the only time I've probably ever referred to myself as John Stockton. But for that case...
I was excited to be Malone in this scenario.
I know, right? Because I'm sure you haven't heard that a lot either, have you?
No.
So we're both in two different kind of weird scenarios.
We're in opposite roles on that one.
But we made it work. Want to get a little balling and falling quick?
Yeah, speaking of two guys who like to ball quite a bit, we'll do a little balling and falling. You want me to lead off with a balling?
Please lead off.
All right, I will lead off with a balling, and that balling goes to Pat Cannon, the new head coach for the Jacksonville Armada under 23 side. I know Pat Cannon quite well. He's done some color commentary with me when I did some of the play-by-play for the Armada, and he's a long-term guy. He's a guy who's been with the youth development side of soccer here in Jacksonville for 15 years, and a guy who's been developing a lot of the players that will be on this Jacksonville Armada under 23 team. Congrats to him. One of his assistant coaches, Tommy Krzanovich, of course, played for the team, another local Jacksonville guy. So it's great to see people who are invested in this community, invested in this soccer program, being the ones who are going to lead it moving forward. A lot of people know that the team is in a weird spot right now, in the fact they don't really have a full-time league that they're really playing in. They play in a 10-game-a-year summer league, really meant to develop college players and youth players. Well, these are the guys to lead this team in this time because they're committed to the Armada long-term. And while a stadium may be getting built one day and eventually a pro team will come back and play in a bigger league, in the meanwhile, this is where we're at. And these are the right guys to lead this team. So therefore, Pat Cannon and the rest of the staff that will be leading the under-23 side for the Armada are balling.
I like it, man. Very good. I always like having you on because we had some soccer news.
Always got. I got to get
about soccer news on the show, but
yes,
especially when it's local, when it's Jacksonville, it's always good to represent a little bit.
No doubt.
My balling is going to, and there's been a lot of balling from the New York Giants. Let's be honest here. But my balling is going to Eli Manning. Could you got a little audio for us?
This guy's gotten many game balls. Yeah. But let's give him one more. Eli Manning. Yeah, baby. Love you guys. I appreciate it. This is a special win, man. They're all special. So, all of them are tough. Doesn't matter what the feeling is, what the season's going. There's not a better feeling than a win in the locker room on a Sunday, boys. So I appreciate this one. It's special. And let's keep it rolling, all right? I'll see y'all Wednesday. Yeah!
There you go, man.
They love that day off.
Yeah, well, for sure. But listen, Eli Manning gets the Miami Dolphins this past Sunday. 20 of 28, 283 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But the story there obviously is this is a guy who he's on pretty much the final hole of his career now, and when the Giants won, and granted it's been a horrible season for the Giants, 3-11. They beat the Dolphins. Eli receives a standing ovation as he's walking off the field. I thought it was a very classy gesture by the Giants fans, and this is a guy who I think has always kind of played the fiddle to his big brother in Peyton. This is also a guy who has 2 Super Bowl wins, and to kind of see him respected like that, to walk off the field probably for the last time as a starting quarterback of the New York Giants. We'll see if Daniel Jones comes back for that. I think that's the last game they play. Philly in New York is the last game of the season. But regardless, props to Eli Manning, man, for kind of going out in style, balling.
Right. Good balling. Okay, as for falling, tornado watches. It's canceled for our entire listening area. I'm kidding. That's not actually it, but it is factual. So, tornado watch gone, but there still will be some heavy storms coming through.
Oh, for sure.
But no expected tornadic activity.
Okay. Well, you can still expect
it's still going to rain and be gusty and lightning and thunder.
Also expect a piece of paper to be slid to you.
And we'll talk about that.
And I want you to write a number, whatever number works for you.
Okay.
Just your favorite number, maybe.
Okay.
Sign your name. Show me how you do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Okay?
I like it.
And I'm driving the storm tracker. My fallen, which is a story.
I have a real one, by the way.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, I don't know if that was the real one or not.
No. That was just a joking fallen.
Okay.
My real fallen.
Hit me with it.
Is Anthony Joshua.
Yes.
Who has said that he is willing to help Tyson Fury by sparring, by training together in order to beat Deontay Wilder, of course, friend of the program.
Yeah, of course, man.
Bomb Squad Super Bowl interview.
Yeah.
He has said, and these are all guys competing for titles. Now, of course, boxing is weird, so you have 9 different titles, 10, 15, however many. But Anthony Joshua has basically said that he will help out a fellow boxer in his division, a guy that he would want to fight right after that.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me because I feel like if you're going to go in there and spar with him, you're helping him, you're getting him better, and then you're going to want to fight him right after that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
You're absolutely right. And what is this, Boxing Day from my co-host here? Is this like this? I must have died and gone to heaven because I'm talking boxing, I'm balling and falling, and it's not for me. I appreciate it, Stuart Weber.
Do what I can.
So it's a fantastic point because right now what you have is really the trinity of boxing, okay? You have Deontay Wilder, you have Tyson Fury, and you have Anthony Joshua again who just beat Andy Ruiz. Now, Andy Ruiz came in out of shape, didn't train for it, as he said, wants to run it back. No.
Partied for the last 3 months.
Hey, and listen, man, I've never been a world champion in MMA or in boxing, so far be it from me to tell how a champion how to act, but I feel like the last thing you want to say as a champion after you just got beat for the whole 12 rounds is to say, I wish I would have trained harder. So unfortunately, and I'd always be justifying giving a guy a rematch or, for the trilogy fight like Andy Ruiz should get. Dude, you showed that you're not taking it seriously. You showed that it was a fluke that you beat Anthony Joshua the first time. As far as I'm concerned, Andy Ruiz is out. Yeah. So you have 3 guys. And what you would think would be like the old days with the Tysons and the Holyfields where they don't like each other, they want to go toe-to-toe with each other, and they want to fight the best. But unfortunately, the landscape of boxing now, it doesn't work like that. Where, yes, you have 2 guys from England and Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And I saw Tyson Fury said something, I haven't really seen his response yet. I doubt Tyson Fury would welcome that.
He did. I think he
did welcome it.
Yeah.
Then, see, it just makes you shake your head a little bit. But here's the case, though. And here's the important thing, Stuart. Anthony Joshua, does he want to fight the money fights and the big names? I honestly can't answer that question truthfully. Because if you look at his promoter, Eddie Hearn, in the past when they fought Andy Ruiz, they didn't have to fight Andy Ruiz. They could have fought Anthony, or they could have fought Tyson Fury. They could have fought Wilder. But they try to take the quote-unquote easy fight in the States. What happened? Joshua gets beat. Joshua gets embarrassed. So from that perspective, I don't think Anthony Joshua wants those hard fights. I think he just wants to make money.
Which he has 2 mandatory challengers for 2 of his belts that are not those names.
Yeah.
So his next fight will be against some guy from the Ukraine or somebody like that who has earned a spot, but it's not the big money fight. This is why it's not as big as it used to be.
And here's the main point. And this is the point of why it's killed boxing.
Yeah.
This is the point where, the boxers still make millions and millions of dollars. Joshua made like $40-something million his last fight. Good on him. But this is why the sport of boxing is dying. because, yes, Anthony Joshua is going to train with Tyson Fury. Do you know why? Any boxing fan would think that if Tyson Fury was to beat Deontay Wilder, well, then the next logical matchup would be Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. One problem, though. Anthony Joshua is with DAZN. Tyson Fury is with ESPN, and they don't cross-promote. So, to be fair, if you're a boxing fan or if you're just a casual observer and you're following boxing a little bit, especially the heavyweight division, which is supposed to be the most prestigious division, it's where all the knockouts are.
It definitely is an MMA.
Yes, exactly. You want Deontay Wilder to beat Tyson Fury, because if Deontay Wilder beats Tyson Fury, you know damn well Wilder is going to fight Joshua. You know why? Because that's the next opponent. That's the toughest guy. Wilder has always wanted the toughest guy. To me, to Wilder, it's not, money's important, but it's about being the best boxer. And that's why Wilder is so important. If Tyson Fury beats Wilder, Tyson Fury beats Wilder, there's no guarantee that he fights Joshua. And this is why Anthony Joshua is going to Tyson Fury, because they know damn well right now the way DAZN is set up on one end and the way ESPN is set up on the other end, they're not going to face each other. So you might as well be friends. And that's the frustrating part of boxing.
Thank you to the listeners for divulging us a quick little side run into some boxing.
Yeah.
But that's how we do it on Ballin' and Falling.
Well, I appreciate you setting me up.
Well,
little Stockton to Malone coming back.
Hey, I can be Stockton. That's more up my alley.
Little Steve Nash coming back to Amari Stoudemire. I appreciate it.
I like that a lot. Let's get into your Fallen.
Yeah, so my Fallen, and this should be bigger of a headline. But unfortunately, here come the Jacksonville Jaguars and completely blow this headline out of the water. But I haven't forgotten. I got a good memory, man. I know I played a lot of football. I'm an MMA fighter, but I still got a good memory. Kuz, let's go to that audio real quick of the New England Patriots finding themselves in trouble in Cincinnati.
And this is a piece you're filming on your Advanced Scout?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, guys. I don't see the Advanced Scout in this footage.
No, it's not. We were trying to get some field perspective. It's my bad. You can.
That's not the field.
Believe that.
That's why you would think you could take that.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry. But I can delete this right here for you.
Damage is done, my friend.
No, it isn't, because we deleted it. And I don't have a computer to even put it anywhere. Once this card's, that's it.
Yeah, I don't see the Advanced Scout in any of this video they're shooting.
Could you sound any more guilty? I don't care if you're a 5-year-old kid that just got busted eating dessert before dinner, or if you're a grown man in the press box of the Cincinnati Bengals recording the sidelines. If you start your conversation by saying, yeah, that's my bad, you're in trouble, man.
We can delete that. No one has to know.
You're absolutely in trouble, man. And listen, when I first heard the story come out, I was in the Patriots side. And I get that's crazy to understand, but I figured, you know what? The way they do the media there, it's a little different. I don't think they'd be recording the Cincinnati Bengals because it's the Bengals. All you got to do is say it's the Bengals and your team should win, okay? Right. Just show up to the game and you should win that game.
Which they did.
Which they did. So I didn't buy into too much of the hype of they were cheating there. But now as this audio comes out and this video, and this was reported by Jay Glazer, it was right before, I think, the 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah, it was in their pregame show on Fox Sports.
But as soon as this comes out, I mean, this has guilty written all over it. Now, the question going forward is, can you prove that Bill Belichick had an influence on this and that he intended to see the footage? That remains to be seen. But the overall synopsis of this audio here, it shows you that the New England Patriots are at it again.
At least this guy is on behalf of the Patriots, whether it's to their announced or not, whether they know that this guy was doing it. He was doing it to gain an advantage for the Patriots.
Yeah.
Now, that's one of those gray areas where it's like, can you really prove that the Patriots sent this guy down there, or did he just want to get Tuam another ring? I want Tuam to win a Super Bowl. I mean, did he just go out there and be like, I'll do anything I can for the Patriots?
Yeah.
I'd give them the Storm Tracker.
Yeah.
You know, was he one of those guys who
should get the Storm Tracker?
Slip him a note with a number. So that's not going to be able to be proven, I don't think. Now, whether they'll still get slapped on the wrist for it, they very well may. And how many slaps does it take to chop it instead of slapping? That's the question here.
What I wouldn't give to just be that guy from the Bengals in that press box who was just like, the damage is already done. What are you doing here? I mean, like that was like the ultimate, like, dude, he knows you're in trouble.
You can't unring the bell, son.
Yeah, you can't unring the bell. It's just not a good look, obviously, for the New England Patriots. They got to be on their hands and knees right now, though, thinking the Jacksonville Jaguars, because all of a sudden the Jaguars NFLPA stuff comes out, And now this is second fiddle. And now this isn't even really talked about anymore, when this should be still a breaking story. I mean, you got caught red-handed. Can you relate that to Bill Belichick and the coaching staff? I don't know, but it's still a big story. Unfortunately, goes by the wayside when the Jaguars are in town.
Freelance photographer gate.
Freelance photographer gate. Doesn't have...
Advanced scout gate.
Advanced scout gate. See, I think that's the thing where it doesn't really work that well.
Not as well as a grievance malfeasance.
A grievance, see, and that's, once again, that's way too much wordage for me. Those are way too many syllables. Ah, coos. Very appropriate. I can't tell if it's night outside or if it's from the storm. I mean, I get it's getting dark right now, but okay, it's a little bit of both. Well, when we come back, I mentioned it. You know, I mean, the Patriots story goes to the wayside because the Jacksonville Jaguars felt the need to be in the news headlines again for all the wrong reasons. We recapped that a little bit. We'll get touching some various other topics when we get back on ESPN 690.
Take a long holiday. Let your children play.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Cloudy skies and some showers and even a few rumbles of thunder early this evening, then drying out as a cold front passes by. We'll see overnight lows down into the 40s. Mostly sunny for Wednesday with highs in the mid to upper 50s. With your first alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax meteorologist Garrett Biedenbaugh.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Where now through December 24th, get 20% off everything in the store, including loose diamonds, only at Beard's Diamonds.
What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lee on ESPN 690, and I need you, your friends, and family to meet me at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena Saturday, December 21st for the Jacksonville Icemen's Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears. I know what you're thinking, hockey and teddy bears, but check this out. When the Icemen score their first goal, fans will be encouraged to throw their teddy bears and other stuffed animals on the ice. These stuffed animals will then be donated to the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville. So thousands of local kids are going to have their holiday shine a little brighter. There is no limit to the amount of stuffed animals that you can bring. This may be the only time where you're actually encouraged to throw things at a sporting event. So let's have some fun. Let's cheer on the Icemen and try to break an ECHL teddy bear toss record, all while doing our part in making sure local kids in need have a special holiday as well. It's the Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears supporting the Children's Christmas Party of Jacksonville this Saturday, December 21st. Get your tickets now at jacksiceman.com/teddy19. That's jacksiceman.com/teddy19, and let's put some teddy bears on ice.
If you're buying diamond jewelry this holiday season and you haven't shopped Beard's Diamonds yet,
stop before you pay too much.
Now through Christmas, you'll save an extra 20% off Beard's already guaranteed low prices, including loose diamonds. 20% off all diamond engagement rings, from solitaires to halos. 20% off all diamond bracelets, necklaces, and more.
Plus, get special financing, but only at Beard's Diamonds through December 24th in the St. John's Town Center.
Or at beardsdiamonds.com.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
Hey guys, this is Allie McNeil from both Best Bet Card Rooms. Best Bet's annual Winter Poker Series will be starting on January 17th at our Jacksonville location. With 12 poker events, the Best Bet Winter Poker Series has something for everyone, including the main event featuring an $1,100 buy-in with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool. Whether you're looking for a low limit or a high limit event, the Best Bet annual Winter Poker Series will have a seat for you this January. Experience the best at Best Bet Jacksonville.
What happens when a small business encounters an unplanned interruption such as a client work stoppage or supplier production outage? The impact can be devastating, but help is not far away. SCORE volunteers provide free mentoring to small business entrepreneurs on a wide range of business topics in addition to workshops and online materials. Since 1964, SCORE has been helping thousands of people seeking solutions to critical business issues. If you want to schedule an appointment with one of our counselors, go to jacksonville.score.org.
The most wonderful time of the year deserves the most wonderful sale of the year. And for that, you gotta go see Arlington Toyota, where you can still get huge Toyotathon savings and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. With over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, that's a whole lot of Toyotathon savings happening right now at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota Camry? It's not $19,745. Now it's only $15,581. That's $15,581 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington. Gotta have a 2019 Toyota RAV4? It's not $22,925. No way. Now it's just $19,481. Just $19,481 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota RAV4 XLE at Arlington. Plus, you're going to get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Toyotathon is on, but it won't last forever. Get in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s at Arlington Toyota. In person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
It's a celebration you won't want to miss. The 75th Tax Slayer Gator Bowl on Thursday, January 2nd, 7 p.m. at TIAA Bank Field. This year's matchup will feature a team from the SEC pitted against an opponent from either the ACC or Big Ten Conference. Let's fill the bank and pay tribute to 75 years of Gator Bowl history. Special anniversary offer includes 4 game tickets, a parking pass, and game program for only $75. Package is now on sale at TaxSlayerGatorBowl.com.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Take 2. Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
If you've been thinking about LASIK, consider Made a Custom Vision at Florida Eye Specialist. Just listen to what golf professional Todd Bork has to say.
I thought about LASIK for years. Part of what I do is play and teach, and it's frustrating to not be able to see. And that led me to go to the 250 place, 250 and I, to where I found out quickly that, well, you're not one of those 250 guys. When I went through all the paces at Meda, and, when you hear somebody, they've done 25,000 cases, and he was one of the pioneers of it, you feel like they kind of know what they're doing. I was told that there was financing options. It included all the follow-ups, and it also included if you had any problems or any tweaks needed to be made, they were all covered.
See why thousands of patients have chosen Made a Custom Vision and Florida Eye Specialist for their eyes. Call 268-EYES or online at MedaLaser.com. Hurry before your HSA or Flex spending accounts expire at the end of the year. Your eyes deserve the very best. Made a Custom Vision at Florida Eye Specialist. 268-EYES.
I'm Thea Jeffers, owner of Breezy Jazz Club and T-Works Interior Decorating. It doesn't matter where you come from, it's possible to own your own business. But starting a business isn't easy. The Jacksonville Women's Business Center helped give me the confidence to keep going when the going got tough. At JWBC, I got the training, networking, and support I needed to help me reach my goals. To find out more about how JWBC can help you, visit jaxwbc.com.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jax. Thank you for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. Everyone is loving our in-depth coverage of the Jaguars, the NFL, and all things sports. Another thing our listeners will love, your business. Let's work together and get you on the fastest growing sports station in Northeast Florida. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 904-245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. The Jags may have won on Sunday, but they took an L in the latest round of arbitration with the NFLPA. According to a statement released by the NFLPA, in the last 2 years, more than 25% of the grievances filed by players in the entire league have been filed against the Jaguars. There's a new leader in all-time passing touchdowns. Who dat? It's Saints quarterback Drew Brees, who passed Peyton Manning's mark in a blowout win against the Colts last night on Monday Night Football.
Will he get it here? Yes! Touchdown pass, 5-4-0 in the 5-0-4.
Joe Tessitore on the call. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. Best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices, premium service, and Tire Outlet always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Golic and Wingo.
I don't know if I've ever felt worse for a kid in the league than Josh Rosen, right? It's like deja vu for him. He's going through this all again. We may never know what Josh Rosen could or could not have been because of the two situations he's found himself.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jag.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I mean, really feel like we came out there and all three phases contributed to the game to really get this win. That's what really makes it special. It's not really one pulling through for the whole team. It's really just a team effort, everybody coming through, everyone fighting, everyone not saying, seeing the obstacles that we had and, giving up and stuff like that. We knew we had time to win, and we knew we could if we just went out there and did it.
That's Avery Jones, defensive tackle, the longest tenured Jaguar here in Jacksonville, and always great for a soundbite.
Always, yeah.
Stole my $50, Avery, and that's where we're at right now. Okay,
yeah,
and that's where I'm at right now. I'm to the point where every time I hear an Avery Jones soundbite, and I'm sure he watches the show sometimes, and maybe he's listening right now. I'm to the point where every time we talk about Avery Jones or he has a soundbite, I'm gonna bring up that you owe me some money. Okay, I'm not gonna say how much it's been. Little interest has been added. Spoiler alert, but you owe me some money. I'm glad you're doing successful on the football field. Glad you're making your contracts, but I'm going to need that money back, okay?
You need that money to start making a storm tracker fund.
Yeah, so Stuart has slid me a piece of paper with how much it's going to cost him for me to get the keys to the storm tracker discreetly. And I'm going to be honest, a little too rich for my blood, okay? Way too rich for my blood. I'm going to need you to knock about 5 zeros off that thing that you just sent me, and maybe I'd consider it.
Is that all? That's all the zeros.
It might be all the zeros. but until then, no deal.
We'll settle somewhere in between. Next time I have to drive it to a football game, I'll let you ride shotgun. That's for $0.
I understand that. Can I control the radio?
Yeah.
Okay. Done.
And the cameras that point at you while you're in there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, say no more then. Forget the radio. Yeah,
so
the cameras?
In the passenger side, it's got this little handheld device, and essentially you are the director of the show. You're punching up these different camera shots, one on the top that you can move around and point at whatever, and then one from the back, one from the side, and then one that comes from the dash cam towards you that then launches that over the air.
I take it there's not like a strobe light effect, right? Where it's like, hey, we have to get somewhere really fast. We're not the police, but we're super important still.
We don't have that feature. No.
You should probably look into that.
It's the storm tracker. When people see it coming, they move.
Okay.
You don't need a light.
I like that. When people see it coming, they move.
It's the First Alert storm track. I'm sure it's out there right now, by the way. We had some rain on the roof here. As hopefully if you're driving, you're being cautious and smart and intelligent. Please, Florida drivers.
Yeah.
Because if you aren't, the other people are not either. So just be careful out there as you listen to our fine radio show, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I'm Stuart Weber, filling in for Brent Martineau, who hopefully isn't getting rained on at Disney today. I think this is just a Northeast Florida storm.
Hopefully. It could be a giant bummer.
Yeah. You just go in like Space Mountain at that point and, get out of the rain.
Fair enough. But still something you got to take pretty seriously. I mean, this storm is pretty legit, I feel like. But I guess if the tornado watch is over, it's over. But something that you should take seriously or not take seriously, depending on how you look at it. The AFC South.
Yeah.
All right. Last night, they were on showcase against the New Orleans Saints. And for lack of a better word, the Colts got mollywopped, curb stomped. Whatever adjective you'd like to use from ESPN 690 that I always say.
Wasn't pretty.
Feel free to use it. But it was not a good look for the Indianapolis Colts last night. And right now, the way things are standing, the Houston Texans at 9-5 are in first place. Tennessee Titans in second place, 8-6. And I think it's over now for the Colts to make the playoffs. So it comes down to...
Yeah, not mathematically, I don't think.
Just being a realist.
But it is.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the Jaguars are 5-9, in case you guys didn't know. So
wait, are they?
Yeah. So if we don't talk about it that much this week, so who knew? But from the perspective of the AFC South here,
better than 4-10.
You know, I think there was one point during the season to start things off where, you know, every team was over 500, and you're saying how competitive the AFC South division was.
I remember those discussions.
And how talented they were. And now we're sitting here with the Jaguars of the bottom of the barrel. The Colts not going to make it. The Titans
They are eliminated, by the way. Sorry.
Okay, you're good.
They lost. They lose all tiebreakers to the other 6 and 8 teams. The Browns and Raiders are technically still alive, but not.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I wasn't worried about it because when I see the Colts are 6 and 7, I assume they're not going to go to the playoffs.
6 and 8 now. They're done.
Oh, I'm sorry. 6 and 8. Yeah. So from that perspective, do you need to take the AFC South seriously in the playoffs? Like, should teams be put on notice? And if they should, what team are you going with? You going with the Texans or the Titans or both?
I think yes, if only because of the fact that you're going to get a home game.
Sure.
Whoever makes it from the AFC South, and it could very well be 2 at this point, by the way, because the last playoff spot in the wild card area is the Steelers, who are 8 and 6. So are the Titans. And the Texans are at 9 and 5. So there is a scenario where the Texans and Titans both make it, and the Steelers are out. Those 3 teams, that's it. It's down to those 3 for the last 2 spots in the AFC, because as we said, the Browns and Raiders would need a lot of things to happen, so we're not even going to talk about that.
And one thing to keep in mind, too, if the Titans do, in fact, make the playoffs, they have to earn it, because they are playing the Saints this Sunday, and then they're also playing the Houston Texans to close out the game in Houston.
Which is probably why both of them won't make it, because they face out. One of them's going to get a loss in that last game. So I think they will have a chance because, 1, they're going to be at home. 2, they're going to be playing a team that is very unproven in the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, as has been documented by quite a few people, have beat hardly anybody this year. They beat the Steelers this past week. They beat the Titans earlier this year.
Almost beat the Patriots.
Those almost doesn't count. Those are the only 2 teams with winning percentages above 500 that they beat this year.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. But my point is that makes it a very realistic possibility for whoever wins the AFC South, who is going to host the Bills at this point. I'm pretty sure they're going to beat out whoever wins the 6th spot because they got a 2-game lead with 2 to go. They're tiebreakers, etc.
Okay.
But anyhow, the Bills are more than likely going to play at the AFC South winner.
Interesting.
So I would tend to think that they have a decent chance because you got the home crowd and you're playing the Bills, which, all due respect to the Bills, you mentioned it, and they very well could move up, by the way, the Bills, but they'd have to pass the Chiefs, Patriots, or Ravens. I don't see that happening.
Well, especially
actually, no, they won't. Sorry, they're not good. They have to pass the Patriots. That's the only way they can get out of that 5 spot.
Well, and this is obviously a big game this Sunday as well. Yep. Is it Sunday or Saturday? I'm sorry. I think
Saturday.
They play Saturday. Forgive me. So the Bills playing at New England, which will be a monumental game and probably the game to watch on that Saturday slate for sure. So,
which if they win that, they move into that higher seed.
I guess my point is the fact that, you know, when I made my predictions, I have the Patriots and the Saints going to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to stand by that. I still like the Patriots. I get it. Tom Brady may not be playing the best football this year. Their offense, the receivers, not showing up. I mean, they don't really have anybody Philip Dorsett, Sanu, and some other guy from probably some junior college or D3 school.
The ghost of Antonio Brown.
That was undrafted, and now he's playing for the Patriots because that seems to be the trend. Oh, and James White, who's really a receiver as well. So I'm still sticking with the Patriots, still sticking with the Saints and the NFC. But in terms of the AFC, no one's talking about the AFC South, right? We're either, and I don't think a lot of people are giving the Patriots a chance either. It's all about the Ravens, right? The Ravens are the sexy pick this year. The
hot topic, yeah.
The Ravens are what the Chiefs were last year. Now, the Chiefs didn't go last year. Chiefs, fall through in the playoffs to the Patriots. But even the Chiefs, everyone's like, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes is back healthy now, 100%. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You can't stop him. So it seems like from every other division, whether it's the AFC East, the North, or the West, there's a legitimate chance that team, you could argue, could go to the Super Bowl. And maybe, the Bills, for the wild card spot, but I don't think. The Bills are good, but I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders quite yet. Give it some time.
And nor are the Steelers as long as Duck Hodges is their starting quarterback.
But here's the point, though. In the AFC South, and granted, yes, the Titans got beat last week, but they were surging for a while, and you never want to meet a team in the playoffs that's surging. And you have the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson, who for some time has been in the MVP, talks. So why is nobody talking about the Houston Texans right now, assuming that they won the division, or the Tennessee Titans, but everybody seems to be talking about the teams from the other division to go to the Super Bowl?
I think a large part of that is because the Houston Texans just got beat by the Denver Broncos. Like when you go out there and lay an egg in a game of that sort, it just makes everybody, boom, you're gone. You're gone in their consciousness. You are not being thought of, and you're just written off for the rest of the year. I know I have. I know we had to do a pick segment. I think I was the only one who took Tennessee, and I paid for it because obviously Houston goes out and beats them and makes me look bad.
But it was a very close game, though.
It was very close. Yeah, it was. Houston pulled. Tennessee came back at the end a little bit, but yeah. If I'd have won that game, I would be in a much better place right now.
Okay.
I digress.
Yeah, you sure do. But I guess the point is, I get that point, Stuart. But then if you look at San Francisco, well, they just got beat by an Atlanta team who had no business traveling from the East Coast to West Coast and beating the 49ers. But I don't think people are really off the 49ers bandwagon yet. Now, granted, they had a lot of injuries. I mean, pretty much their entire starting defense was hurt for that game against the Falcons. But I don't see the outcry of saying, oh, San Francisco got beat by Atlanta. They're not going to the Super Bowl. I think they're still one of the favorites to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if it's the Broncos thing like you mentioned, if it's just the lack of respect for the AFC South in general as a whole, or what it is. But at the end of the day, like you said, the AFC South winner will host a home game.
They will.
They will have the home field advantage. And if it's the Texans, you got a guy in Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I feel like you got to take the AFC South a little more serious.
And if you're the Titans, you have a bruising running back who will play good football when it comes in the playoffs.
Stop the run the football. How many times have I said that?
That's it.
Way too many. All right. When we come back, we put a little bow on the show on ESPN 690.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
My rookie year, we had these pills that we would swallow. It goes in your stomach, and then they can come by with like a scanner, and they can see what your body temperature is. Each pill that we took, and keep in mind, it's 90 guys in training camp. Each pill cost $100. So from that perspective, you're spending that much money per day, for the entire training camp. Yeah, there's a lot of money being spent for stuff like that.
Well, I just know how many gummy worms I had on the team playing, and I wasn't even part of the roster.
Listen weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. in your car or stream them. ESPN690.com.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Small business owners, it's been a great year, and now it's time to begin to make some end-of-year decisions. Instead of giving your hard-earned money to the tax man, consider reinvesting in your business with a quality pre-owned truck, van, or commercial work vehicle from Jacksonville Truck Center. With the largest selection of pre-owned work vehicles in North Florida and easy commercial financing, let us be your one-stop shop to get the job done today. We're on the corner of Arlington Expressway and Southside Connector. Stop by today or visit us at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me in my classes when I give attention to detail to the task at hand. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my country safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The most wonderful time of the year deserves the most wonderful sale of the year. And for that, you got to go see Arlington Toyota, where you can still get huge Toyotathon savings and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s. With over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day, that's a whole lot of Toyotathon savings happening right now at Arlington. How about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $16,995. Now it's only $12,481. That's $12,481 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington. Gotta have a 2019 Toyota Tacoma? It's not $24,575. No way. Now it's just $28,991. Just $28,991 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Tacoma at Arlington. Plus, you're going to get all the rewards and benefits of the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club with your purchase. Toyotathon is on, but it won't last forever. Get in today and pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019s at Arlington Toyota. In person at 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
When you owe IRS or state sales tax and can't pay, call J. David Tax Law for effective tax help. J. David Tax Law can stop IRS or state collection actions and protect you from financial ruin. Call J. David Tax Law for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777 or at jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or a phone call away.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
How have binoculars and just the general discomfort that comes with using binoculars, how have we not improved that?
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Hey, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion of the world, and you're watching Action Sports Jocks. Bomb Squad!
You know, it's one of these things that would have been easy to just, hang your head and say, hey, we're going to mail it in the rest of the season. But that's not what these guys are about. That's not what we're about. And I'm super proud of them for that, finding a way to win today. We're definitely process-oriented in what we do. We're going to take it day by day and try to get better each day. And eventually we're going to believe that that's going to lead to wins. And I believe the work that we've been putting in, even when it's been hard, we've had faith and kept grinding to get us to this point.
Jaguars quarterback Gardner Minshew getting ready to prepare against the Atlanta Falcons.
Minshew mania. Do I owe him $5 now? Is that how trademarks work?
Does that go through?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, eventually you will.
I think we can still say it on radio.
You'd be surprised.
We can't put it on a shirt and sell it.
Okay, but we can say it on the radio.
Yeah, we can say Duval and we're not paying the Jags.
Yeah, but I don't say Duval with 3 U's. I say it with 4 U's or 2 U's. Get serious now.
I'm saying Minshew with 3 E's.
Okay, fair enough. So, but that is quarterback Gardner Minshew. And he'll be taking on another defense that I like to call the slump buster, right? Especially in their passing defense. I think they're vulnerable there. I think that if you're a Jaguars fan, you hope that Gardner Minshew can build from the Raiders game and come out with another great performance. And when we're talking about the performances, yes, we haven't talked a lot about the Jaguars game on the field in Oakland just because we've had other things to talk about. There's been other stories revolving the organization. Real quick for you before we get back into the recap of what we talked about today. With Gardner Minshew, he obviously, maybe it's not so obvious. Did he help himself out in that Oakland game is to try to secure up maybe a starting spot or at least a look from the new regime that comes in?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like obviously you can't ignore the fact that he led them on 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter to win the game. But you also can't ignore the fact that for 3 quarters, he was not very good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the offense wasn't doing anything for 3 quarters of that game against the Raiders. The Raiders don't have, this super standout defense. That defense had been getting shredded the past few weeks, and to only have 3, then 6 points going into that great epic run. So really, I think, if anything, this game solidified what we already knew about Gardner Minshew. He's got things to work on. He needs more help, and he has something special that adds a little Minshew magic, trademark pending, towards the end of a game. So he has that ability to make something magical happen, but he also still has a lot to work on. And I feel like we knew that coming into the game, and it reaffirmed it that he does have that magic, and it is exciting to watch.
Yeah.
I'll say that. It certainly was an entertaining watch, but there is still a lot of work to do, as you'd expect from a 6th-round rookie quarterback.
And I'll say this. yes, he didn't make every single throw. Yes, he may have made some mistakes of going to the wrong guy. But what I got out of that Oakland Raiders game, and where I think you can think about Gardner Minshew going forward now, and what this new regime should at least consider when coming in, asking yourselves, what is the quarterback situation going to be? In that Oakland game, it was under a microscope of the things that Gardner Minshew does so well that you can't teach, okay? Going forward, the next coaching staff to come in, the quarterback coach to come in, they're going to teach Gardner Minshew how to make some better reads, okay? They're going to work out his mechanics a little bit so he maybe doesn't underthrow somebody or overthrow somebody. But at the quarterback position, to stand in the pocket and stare down the bullet of a blitzing linebacker, either you have that or you don't. And if you have that and you get hit, sometimes you lose that. For instance, Blaine Gabbert. Love Blaine Gabbert to death. Solid guy. But he got thrown in the fire way too quickly. And in his first game, he got hit hard, and he was a little gun-shy after that, okay? Gardner, if anyone's got a right to be gun-shy, it's Gardner Minshew, especially after his very first preseason game in Baltimore where his helmet came flying off 10 yards. If I was a quarterback, dude, I would be having PTSD. I would never step on the field again. I'd be like, no, I'm all set. Especially with the offensive line that I got protecting me, I'm good. I don't want to go back out there. I'll just be the backup. But Minshew has showed strides. He showed improvements, and he's still stuck by the standpoint of he's not afraid to get hit, and he's not afraid to do what he has to do to try to make plays happen. Now, sometimes does that result in a turnover? Yes. Sometimes does that result in a first down? Yes. I would rather have a quarterback who's willing to put it all on the line, a la Brett Favre, who has the most interceptions in NFL history. You know what? Go back to Green Bay. No one talks about that crap. Everyone talks about what kind of gunslinger Brett Favre was. No one cares about the interceptions because you know why? Brett Favre was trying to win. And at the end of the day, I think you got a guy in Gardner Minshew who wants to win and will do everything in his power to win. And I think teams coming in, assuming he can string these next two games together against the Falcons defense and their secondary, who is vulnerable, and also the Colts defense who got gashed last night to Drew Brees. I think if Gardner Minshew puts two of those games together, you have no choice but to start the guy.
I think this makes for an even more interesting process of finding the next head coach than maybe we even had last time. Mm-hmm. I think that prospect of seeing who they bring in and what they can do with a guy like Gardner Minshew, I feel like it's going to have us analyzing who that next guy is on a different level than maybe even before. When you think about what can this guy do if Gardner's the guy, if he proves himself to be the guy over the next couple of weeks, what can this new coaching staff, and he will have a new quarterback coach. I can guarantee you that. The other positions we don't know, but Scott Milanovic is leaving for sure as he took the job, obviously, with the CFL. So he will have a new quarterback coach, and it will be interesting to see kind of which direction they go in and who they can find to shape this guy, this young player who's a sixth round, rookie sensation. How do you turn him into that next step, into that next level? Because no matter what, he's going to be on this team and he's going to need developing.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. That's something we talked about today with Drew Brees. And I'm going to repeat myself here for people that were listening before. We're talking about Drew Brees, his success. A lot of it comes from Sean Payton, right? Because Sean Payton took a chance on Drew Brees. Sean Payton went to the front office and said, I want this guy. I know it comes with the risk. I know he's got a shoulder injury, and I know he's put up this crazy stipulation where whatever team sign him, he has to be the starter. That's very egotistical. I don't care. I want Drew Brees on my team. And that's what I want from a quarterback coach, from an offensive coordinator, or a head coach coming in. I want a guy to look at Gardner Minshew and be like, I can win with this guy. I can mold this guy to my system. I don't want a coach who's on the fence is kind of like, well, let's see what we got with Gardner Minshew and we'll go from here. No, I want a guy that's passionate, that's willing to have his players back. And if not, and if that guy's not out there, and maybe that guy's got a la Kingsbury with Kyler Murray, where there's a guy in the draft that's like, you know what, Justin Herbert, man, I want him. Or Joe Burrows, I get it. We're not picking the first spot, but we have some draft capital. Let's try to make it work. I just want a passionate person at the quarterback position.
So you're saying if we pick up Lincoln Riley as the head coach, we might have to watch out for, I don't know, Jalen Hurts being a guy?
That's assuming Lincoln Riley goes to the NFL, but you never know, man. You never know. But
part of the fun.
It is part of the fun. And also some of the fun that we had today, or you can call it fun or just call it analyzation, but we broke down the Jaguars and their front office troubles right now, and obviously the NFLPA kind of putting them on blast a little bit, urging players not to sign with that team. And we broke down of what needs to happen next. Well, obviously, I think that if you're Shad Khan, you either A, release a statement regarding, what's going on and try to justify the means, or B, C, D, E, F, you fire Tom Coughlin, okay? But I think something has to be done. And we're going into a press conference tomorrow with Doug Marrone, who's going to be grilled on these questions, who will not be able to answer them. Do you expect an awkward environment tomorrow once again? Because these questions are coming for Doug Marrone.
I don't think it'll be awkward. I think he's dealt with it enough in his career that he'll know exactly how to deal with it and how to brush him off and move on to the next thing and get everyone back on, and everyone will ask the questions because you have to do it. It'll certainly be a big part of the discussion on the show tomorrow. Of course, Brent Martineau will return.
He will be back
from his one-day vacation. That's how he rolls. Just
treat yourself.
A one-day sojourn down to the mighty, magical place on earth we know as Disney World. Brent Martineau will return, of course, on Wednesday, along with Austin Lane. So that'll be a big topic of discussion. We'll also talk a little high school football signing day. It's actually all sports. It's the early signing day in December. A lot of our local area student athletes will be signing their college scholarships tomorrow, so that'll certainly be something to keep an eye on.
That's awesome.
Jeff Sims out of Sandalwood, uncommitted. We'll see where he ends up going. It's a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun in February. I'm curious to see what it's like tomorrow and have some fun with that, and plenty of other great topics on the show tomorrow, Austin.
Do you know where Jeff Sims is gone? Like, off the record?
Not off the record, no. The prevailing thought might be Georgia Tech now that he decommitted from Florida State. That's been the other big leader for him.
Yeah.
Which would be really ironic because he's such good friends with Carson Beck from Mandarin, who's now going to Georgia.
Okay, so
you get a good, clean, old-fashioned hate rivalry going there.
I have a feeling you're lying to me. I think you know where he is going, and you don't want to say it on the air. That's fine. I'm going to slide you a piece of paper. I want you to write down a number, and how much that number is going to depend depending if you can tell me where he's going or not.
It's the same number as stealing the Storm Tracker.
Once again, too many zeros. Hey, buddy, thanks everybody for tuning in to ESPN 690. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Have a good night. Be safe out there. What's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane, ESPN 690, and I need you, your friends and family, to meet me at the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena Saturday, December 21st for the Jacksonville Icemen's Drive for 10,000 Teddy Bears. I know what you're thinking. Hockey and